What's happening? What's happening?
All right.
What's going on?
It's nice to be back another week.
Yeah.
This is, as the end of the month, we kind of make it a discussion class. This is the last class for the month, and then we get back to it again next week.
Yep.
I was trying to go to Mexico City this week, but because of class, I wanted to be here. I was trying to make arrangements, and it was a plenty nightmare. So I'm gonna try to go next month. But let's go. I'm glad to be back. Tennille is with Elevate. Remember that group, Elevate? Mm-hmm. She's out there in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Yeah, I'm not going. No offense. It's just I've never ever been in a circle where brothers that said, "Man, you know where I want to go one day?" They said, "Where, dog? Motherfucking Albuquerque." I don't know why you're surprised, Kaji. Right. Unless you can go for me and tell me how I made a bad decision. But I don't care. I'm gonna die.
You said hash green what? Wow. Okay.
Wow.
I can look that up. ChatGPT, tell me about green chilies.
Oh, green what?
She said you can learn all about green chilies in New Mexico.
Oh no, I just go to Tex-Mex down the street and I'm good. That's all the green chili I ever wanted.
Right.
So I just like there's places. Let me just say this is personal. It has nothing to do with anybody else. I don't ever want to go to Portland, Oregon again. Ever. That airport, walking the 1 mile to get out of an airport is unacceptable in 2025, right? And I don't ever want to go to Memphis, Tennessee again because there's a small part of Memphis, Tennessee that, like, for example, the people love the people in Memphis, Tennessee. And then I'm done. I'm done. Like the hospitality, the intelligence, some of the high-performing brothers and sisters that I met along the way, the storytellers, some of the innovative. Like, I think Tennessee might become great because there's some amazing people there. I ain't going back. Just not going back. So yeah, there's just certain places I'm not going back to. But enough of that stuff. How's your week?
It was wild and good and wild. Last week, a couple of y'all thought I was getting Rodney King in the tunnel. So I appreciate that, but I just had a little glitch. I did a turnaround trip to Vegas. I had to go to Vegas Monday, got back Tuesday.
It was wild.
So handle some business out there. So it's just sticking and moving.
Good,
you know what I'm saying?
Good.
Sticking and moving.
Yeah, even there was another rumor that you got in a car accident in the tunnel. I said, boy, that telephone game where people just kind of transfer by the time you get around, before you know, he's like, yeah, he's out there fighting against Trump and everything. What?
Right.
It became exaggerated real fast.
Yeah, I love that, because Kaj was like, I've seen him in your car, and I thought, oh, shit. And I was like, damn, these are the coolest cops ever. Like, he's like, let me see if I can get it going for you. And I'm like, here, you take the keys because I'm not going down there. And he tried to get it going. Yeah, it was definitely an experience. But good week, though. Good week moving forward.
Good. Same here.
Yep.
Glad to be alive. My family's back east. Here's something real funny. Then we'll get into class. My daughter calls me on her iPad. She's into texting and calling now. So she calls me and if I don't text her back, she wants to make a discussion about it, right? So, which is, I've never been jammed by a 6-year-old like this before, right? Which is about to be 7 in the next month. So, her brother comes behind me and stands over my shoulder, and he looks at the camera, and she says, "Hey, brother, I just want to say, I'm sorry for what I did to you." And so me and the mother's looking at like, I don't really know what's going on. She goes, I'm sorry. And then so the brother goes, no, I'm sorry too. She goes, no, I initiated it, so I'm sorry. Right? And then I'm like, first of all, I'm impressed with that, right? So she's controlling the moment. So then the mother says, well, what happened? And she goes, Ma, this is a teenager kid situation. There's not a dope problem. We got this. I said, what?
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Oh God!
That's
so
funny.
I got a baby version of me growing up, which is crazy because she keeps. I didn't raise my daughter to duplicate my personality, but every time I see characteristics of my personality in her, I'm just as shocked because I'm thinking, you think girls not gonna copy her dad, she's gonna copy her mom.
It's gonna
man. She runs shits.
It's gonna happen.
Ugh.
Hey, last weekend, I come sit down for dinner, and Erica says we have a situation. It's me, Erica, and Anala, and so I said, what happened? She's like, I told Anala to clean her room, and I turned around to walk away, and then I turned back to say something, and Anala was going. So Anala was like, I just get tired of her telling me to clean my room. I'm tired of her telling me to clean my room. I was like, man, look. But she's like, I already apologized. So I'm like, yeah, but let's talk about why you did that part. I love it though.
Hey man, experiencing little girls are the most amazing thing in the world because, when you're a little kid and they say, oh, girls mature faster than boys, you'd be like, yeah, whatever.
Oh, hell yeah.
And then when you raise them, you're like, oh, goddamn, they really do.
Absolutely.
They move fast.
Absolutely.
Oh, my God. The maturity and the insights and listening and the positioning is it's insane. So having these girls in my life is it's amazing experience because I get a chance to see a different rate of evolution. Boys, we kind of like one day we just, oh, okay, we're up. we understand life.
Right.
But before that, we falling, breaking, running our heads into walls. Talking about I can run harder into the wall.
Right.
So just to see girls are coming out already, just processing different. It's just really it's amazing. Mm-hmm. But anyway, y'all ready to get into this? All right, let's do this. Get the first slide.
Ooh.
Now I want to say,
ooh,
I'm gonna approach this coping versus conquering. It's gonna be a subject matter I'm gonna keep alive because I don't think folks understand what I'm saying here and why this is important. And I think this is at the heart of the crossover. When I mean crossover, it's going from corporate America to becoming an entrepreneur, or going from not having a job at all to becoming an entrepreneur. The difference is coping versus conquering. It's a thin line. So I'm gonna pick different subjects at different times. It's like we did wolf versus the dog, but I'm going to show how our inability to conquer ourselves, conquer our personal challenges, conquer our fears is causing us where we're coping with our fears and coping with ourselves and coping with these challenges. And that prevents the process. So let's jump into something that Tone, I think, Kaja echoed, I think Charlize are echoed as well. They said, now it feels like sometimes we're not learning as much as we used to. Paraphrasing, horrible paraphrase. I'm sure if they came in, they would act like scientists and bring precision to that point. And there's this thing I want to bring to this that was a bias actually. He said, no, it's a bias. That's a bias. What kind of bias is? That's a linear bias. So what I mean by linear bias? The way we see learning is learning works like this. We think learning works like this. You learn something, and then you learn something new, you get excited. Then you learn something new, you get excited. You learn something new, you get excited. You learn something new, you get excited. And that's how you measure your rate of growth, right? Actually, learning is nonlinear. And why is it nonlinear? You learn something new, you get excited. You learn something new, you get excited. You learn for a whole year and feel like you didn't. I mean, you study for a whole year, feel like you got nothing, right? Feel like you got nothing, and then one day you get a flash of brilliance, pow! And that whole year where you felt you learned nothing, something surfaces, or you're in the middle of a lot of things are coming across your office, and you're in the middle of a crisis, and all of a sudden you're like navigating through the crisis where people are like, how the hell did you just do that? Because learning at some point stops to provide you the feedback. So you start to think, I'm not learning anything. I've been reading these books. I don't feel like I'm learning anymore. That threshold is an area where most people quit and give up. A lot of us don't have the force, the drive to get past that certain stage. This is when most people go, yeah, it ain't working for me no more. Right? This happens in gyms. This happens in everything. There's a threshold where the brain stops giving you linear rewards for your growth. Meaning that you can be studying for 2 years and feel like you haven't learned anything, but your brain automatically becomes discouraged. Automatically goes, I'm discouraged. I don't even want to do this no more. Here's the unique thing. This is what separates the coping from the conquerors. Those of us who are conquerors stuck with it. And when you stick with it, we get that flash of reward that's no longer rewarded to us in a linear way. So for example, now if you're studying, you may study for like 6 months and feel like sometimes you're reading the same shit over and over. I mean, there's nuance there, right? And then one day, something to click. And it's like, oh shit, that one thing, that one solution, that one moment made that 1 year you almost underinvested in the solution.
Absolutely.
Right? But most people will never get past that threshold because they think they're not gaining. They think they're not progressing. They think they're not benefiting from the learning process. We're not realizing that boredom is your brain signaling to you. This is where the bias kick in. Your boredom says to your brain, because you're so used to linear rewards, I'm not getting linear rewards, so there's no reward in this learning. Not realizing that because you haven't conquered that moment, it's not that you're not gaining progress. It's that your brain doesn't know how to recognize the progress you're gaining. And you got to stick with it. Same thing with working out. You can be getting, I'm getting stronger. At one point, you're like, I can't get past 225 no matter what I do. And then one day you're walking to the gym and dudes are talking and you hyped up and you'll grab 275 and be like, what the hell? And then now that's your new base. And then you may stay with 275 for like 3 years. And then one day, pow, 315, right? But what we got used to is that early stage of, man, I went from 100 to 120. Now I'm at 140 now. Last month I was at 140, now I'm at 160. And then we even talk to each other like this, like, hey, you see how I'm changing? Because now I'm getting stronger. And remember a long time ago I said, we should stop talking about these gains and talking about consistency. Consistency is the hardest part of training because consistency is a place where there's no linearity reward no more. You don't get that linear reward which says when I hit this, I'm going to get this reward and I go home, or 3 months from now I'm getting ready for this event and I know I'm going to get that reward. Especially if you age, you can work out for 6 months and your stomach went down 1/8 of an inch, right? And so the reality is that all these variables is because your brain, and then so when you only get 1/8 of an inch after 6 months of screaming and hollering and pain and lifting and sacrificing, you start saying, oh, this shit ain't working. But the ones who receive the reward are the ones who can stick and stay with it, as opposed to what most people do. That's the point that most people quit. So when Tone, Charlize, and Kaja brought up that conversation of, I don't feel like we're learning the way we used to be learning, it's because they're learning, they're just not getting the reward signal back to your brain. So if they drop out at that point, they are average. The uniqueness would be, because I'm learning all the time and I'm gaining from the process of learning, then what happened is you'll start thinking, oh shoot, this shit's working. It's like it's so slow. There's this game I play called Diablo. When I get tired and I get exhausted, I do something mindless. So I have this one game called Diablo 4, right? And it's this kind of RPG game, right? And the game works like you could be playing a game and you're playing like, man, I can't beat none of these dudes, right? And you just keep playing, you're going through this process, you keep farming for tools and stuff like this. And all of a sudden, one day you're going to fight that dude and all of a sudden you just mop him and you're like, what the hell? I didn't even see my growth. That's what it is right there. You won't even see the growth. There's a certain point of growth that your brain is no longer detecting the growth. You'll see it in long-term hindsight. So for example, if I look at me 5 years ago, I'm like, oh, wow. Or I hear a story about myself, oh, wow. But in that process of evolution and growth, I don't sense it anymore. I don't sense my growth now, except when other people give me feedback on my growth now. Otherwise, I feel like I'm just slowly chicken along, or I'm just following my discipline, not know if it's working or not, because you can't see it. So when somebody goes, "Oh, I'm not learning anymore in a learning environment," yeah, that's what you're supposed to feel.
You know what it reminds me of? I know it's hella cheesy, but when you're talking, it reminded me. You guys ever watch that Karate Kid movie back in the 80s? Karate Kid, and he's making him paint the fence and wax the car and like do these movements, but it's menial, tedious task that he has to do. And so the kid gets just like a lot of people get in this class. Like, I'm sick of this shit. I'm tired of doing all these movements. You got me washing the car. You got me painting the fence. And then he took a swing at him. You know what I'm saying? And then he was like, oh, that's what that's for. Then he tried to punch him some other way, and he used the other. Oh, that's what that's for. Then it finally clicks like, oh, now thank you for doing that. But in the process, that shit is like, you have to be comfortable with the menial wax on, waxing off of the car and the painting of the fence, because that rhythm, that practice, that pattern that you create within yourself is what creates the outcome of what you want as an entrepreneur.
Imagine Steph Curry, right? So you watch Steph Curry and they show, let's say they give a video of Steph Curry crossover and dribbles and how he dribbles and throw the tennis ball, catch tennis ball, dribble, throw the tennis ball, catch tennis ball. And you might say, oh yeah, I could do that. No, you're missing the point. Steph does it so much to the point that most of you guys would quit.
Oh, absolutely.
That's the point. It's the brain training to the point that now it's the practice. You would think, Steph, why are you practicing like that now? I mean, you should know how to do that blindly.
No.
You play basketball every day. What you don't realize is that because somewhere he's been taught that stop looking for linear feedback. That practice itself as a whole has a gradual, slow, it does this. That's how growth works. It's not this. In our brain, we're looking for this, and when we don't see this, we say, this growth shit don't work.
Yeah. A lot of times we got to get out our own way. We be in the way. We're in the way. It's not that it's rocket science or it's not doable for you or it's not doable, period. Most things that are over here for the masses is not even about capability. They're not willing to practice, and they in their own way, some kind of fear or something. They don't have the guts to move towards it, or they hate failure. So all the times where they have to do the basics or they have to practice, they don't like missing. They just don't like missing. So like, I don't feel like missing all that much. I got to run and get my ball. But how do you expect to get good? Entrepreneurship, like this class in general and learning in general, it's a lot of missing. It's a lot of sitting back and being vulnerable to accept knowledge and wisdom from others. And most people are so control freaks, they don't even want to put themselves in those vulnerable positions to receive it. So you can't blame anybody but being in your own way if you can't get past that.
Yeah, but in addition, our brain does not like the process. So you got to fight past what you like.
Yeah,
that's why you have to conquer. It's not about, if you're organic, there's a lot of stuff we do organic that doesn't go along with building anything, right? It's more, most of our brain is designed to protect. It's not designed to build. I'm gonna have a defense part 2 class next month to kind of expand the defensive dialogue. But large part of our thinking doesn't want to do the non-linear practice. It wants to get, so linear will work if every time you practice, you got an instant reward.
Yeah.
Right? The reality is that you could practice for 3 years and feel like you got no rewards until the reward happens. But your desire for reward, that feedback loop that you're looking for, we don't know. That's not how growth works. And most people will respond to their natural, like, okay, it feels good. Like if you look at most of business, it's designed for immediate reward. That's why you get paid every week or every 2 weeks, right? Or once a month for some. You're looking for this immediate signal of, I did a good job. That's why you want your review. You want bonuses. You want this. You're looking for all these things that signal to you that you're doing a great job. Imagine being in a world where I take away all those signals. Do you still want to work there? But that's what an entrepreneur is. You lose your signal game. In the early stages, you get it. Like when you first open your business and you sign up, you get your logo back, you get your website up, your brain's like, man, look, I'm feeling this shit. Matter of fact, make your first profit and your family's like, oh, I told you. You're like, yeah, Facebook. That's why a lot of us on Facebook, because we're trying to hack the need for the signal back. Mm-hmm. The reality is, even with that signal actually can cause you a lot of damage and a lot of harm, especially as you advance and as you grow. There's a saying that says, it's better to be loved by dozens than to be liked by thousands, right? And so a lot of us are seeking outside validation so much because we're no longer receiving internal validation. You remember when I first taught this class, I think Fern, you was around, I think Shakina was around, even Brendan was around. I used to talk about being an entrepreneur is going through a dark, 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 dark tunnel. And on the other end, there's some light, but while you in that tunnel, you start wondering, should you walk forward or should you walk back? Because you're no longer getting that signal that you're making progress by going, oh, I can see the horizon getting closer. You're literally walking going, all right, dog, I don't really know what the fuck's going on.
You hear them sounds.
and you get to the point where you're walking forward and you have to have faith that you know you're going in the right direction, but you don't get the signals. Most people are designed to quit.
Yeah, they run back.
That's it. It's it. I'm quit. I'm going back because I don't know where we're going. This doesn't make any sense. I'm dealing with uncertainty. I'm not getting no response back, no feedback, no validation. No one even sees me. Nobody recognizes me, right? And so then here's where some of us will start doing. We're going through the dark tunnel, and then somehow we'll figure a way to turn our cell phone on and get external validation, even though nobody's in the tunnel with us. You hear what I just said? People ain't working with you. People ain't in business with you. But you're looking for people who have nothing to do with your business to validate you. So now you're online talking about, what's up, Facebook? So I'm out here at the job doing my thing, about to go to the gym, you know what I'm saying? I'm over here focusing on mental health first, which I want to share this with you. Pimp game. I'm sorry to use the phrase pimp game. And not in the context, some of y'all into that sexist, feminist shit, that's how I'm talking to you. Pimp game is the things you can't see between the lines. If a person, I was talking to one of my family members today, and I said to him that, let me tell you a secret of financial growth. When you start making money, you become addicted to making money. Not in a bad way. The word addiction, you become comfortable or used to making money. If you see somebody who has on all the Louis Vuitton, all the Gucci, all the Balenciaga, all the fancy, they got a fancy ass car, they're compromising their wealth. You say, what do you mean? Do you understand the labor it requires to wear that shit and drive those cars and live that lifestyle? There's a cost and lifestyle, a time, attention, and money being robbed from me at a high rate. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm willing to guess. I'm going to just tell you why I'm into this game. Financial freedom, meaning that I have the freedom to make all the choices I want to make, especially when you're in a world where you sit there. This is when you have no money. You sit there in this room and you dream about all the things you want to do, but you know the thing that stops you from achieving goal or making decisions, making movements, growing your business, investing in certain things is you don't have no money. So the goal is to achieve financial freedom. But for the person who's taking that money that could be going into investment, that doesn't mean you can't have a Gucci item. Doesn't mean you can't have a Louis Vuitton item. I'm talking about the person who walks around like the billboard for those companies. The thing is that the reason that's not a thing is because, see, you get to a point where your money starts making money and you start growing. Now, don't get me wrong. If you're filthy rich, the reason it's hard for a filthy rich person to be into that stuff is because the reason they're filthy rich is because they was able to bypass most of that stuff. If you're trying to be filthy rich and you're just constantly going, ooh, you can't get off the ground. That's when you have to say, man, fuck, I'm working on this.
Right.
So then once you're in that rhythm, you got there, the things you might get a jet, or you might have a nice car, or you might have a nice home, but your car is the purpose of your car is not status, even though it's a degree of status, but it's not like you're not like you meet somebody who's really, really rich, they may have one car. They good. Let's stop looking at these rappers. We're talking about real people who make real money. They may have one nice car. They may have live in a nice house. I know some that have two cars. One car is a really nice car that they drive for events, and then their car they drive every day. It might be a Tesla to an old truck. You'll never know this person has money like that, right? This is all the people I know when they built the money from scratch, right? But when you see somebody who has to have all the items, you're spending your investment money. I mean that you're spending your freedom money. Let me say this again. You're spending your investment money, which means you're spending your freedom money. Yeah, you have all that. I got friends right now who could dress better than all of us put together. If we put all of our dress power together as one to twin power come together, activate, and we made one person who put together all of our ideas, this person would smoke us in clothing. But I promise you, this person's broke as shit. I promise you right now, if I say, hey, let's go to Africa right now next week. It's gonna cost like 6 G's. Let's go. Oh, no, I don't know. But he has this convertible BMW. He has, every time you see him, he has a brand name on. Well, he's investing. He's looking for the stimulation of here and now over the stimulation of protecting that longer term outcome, right? Which is freedom. And I ain't talking about let's not go to extreme of savings. There's extreme to the point that you can save so much to the point that you destroy life, right? Like life is just boring. You're at the house like watching the same old CRT television talking about shit look good to me though. I'm not suggesting that, but what I'm suggesting is you ever had a friend who got a job who hasn't really learned personal value yet, and their famous phrase is, you got to understand the quality of that. The quality matters. Not everything. Not everything matters like that. Like, I don't know about you. I went down that quality rabbit hole in my early stages of gaining money, and I found out most of that shit ended up in my closet. Thousands of dollars just sat in my closet with no fucking value. You ever bought a fancy car thinking everybody's gonna see you, and no one cares?
Nobody cares.
No one. Nobody. Nice car I've had, the last 3 or 4 cars I've had that's been really nice. If you call most of my friends, like, what kind of car do you have? They'd be like, oh shit, I don't remember.
And you know the funny thing, 'cause I used to be heavily into that. I get the car of my dreams. I finally get the car of my dreams. Guess what? I can't even see the outside of it.
The inside.
That's true as shit.
I'm only seeing the inside console of the car of my dreams. So you don't even really get to enjoy just the 5 seconds of walking up to it.
That's about it.
That's it. And so you spending all that thought process, money, energy, time. It's really a low self-value situation. I've been there. When I first hit my first bag, I tied all of my value to money, personal, financial. And it's such a fragile way of living. And you almost get like nervous when you can't show people your money value versus who you are. And so that's part of that learning that you're talking about, because that's the type of shit you got to learn. You got to feel, you got to experience to realize, oh man, this ain't. And the feedback loop too is what's important, because people who got it, maybe people who you look up to, or people who got more than you, they'll be the ones to look at you and be like, what are you doing, blood? Like, what is that? Well, is it? Then that's dumb. And it allows you to, it allows you to, it's a character check. You know what I'm saying? And we do it to each other sometimes, because the road to wealth and the road through wealth is not an easy thing mentally. And in our circle, I think is dope, because we get to watch certain people that we've been around, friends that we have, go from, being broke to having lots of money and millions. And it's good to be able to nudge them a little bit and be like, hey, I know you're getting high off this right now, but don't do that. Ain't a good idea. You probably don't want to do that. Or let's shut that shit down. Like and to be able to have people to do that is dope, because I needed it when I lost my mind, when all that money comes, because it's a mental overwhelm when now you can buy whatever you want. And so that's the feedback loop is important.
Great question.
I like what you just said, Court. I like to believe that maybe that's the reason I'm still making monetary gains is because I'm still like subject to a lot of class 3 experiences. And that's why things are taking a long time, because some of that has to get worked out of my system. But I want to go back to what you were saying, Nana, about, I think you said like being in the tunnel and hearing people who aren't connected to your business, how that can be a distraction. And I know that both of y'all built businesses, I wouldn't say before that, well, maybe before the advent of social media, or certainly not what it is now, right? Where if you were building your businesses today, you probably would have to be there, right, to build your presence if you were starting from now. But if I just talk about numbers for a minute, and I can't really speak about monetary numbers, but I can speak about compounding numbers. By the end of this year, my podcast will cross 10,000 downloads. And so I feel really good about that because, you know, I've been building it to increase the growth, and that's happening. And part of that is it's the kind of business model where you have to get people engaged. So when I do a little series on social media and say, you know, and I talk about the podcast analytics, people see that and they feel like this is growing. We're a part of it growing because we're listening. We like her, so we want to keep listening and we want to keep sharing it. So it's almost like you need to go create what you just were talking about is not good. But I do feel like sometimes I need to go create that because it's the kind of model where if people don't buy you, they're not buying it.
You ever heard the phrase, don't get high on your own supply?
Yes.
That's the difference. So you can be on the social media, but don't get high on your own supply.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like using a tool, like, for example, I used social media when I was on the photography side, and I would use it to sell, but I wouldn't be on social media all day long, just reading all kind of articles and getting caught up in the culture and what does this mean and which is you can't get high if you're on supply. If you ran whatever business you run, you know, every business is not going to be extension of churches or high moral business. Like, it could be shit. You could have had a business where people are stripping or whatever. It could be whatever. That's your business. I'm not here to judge that. But just like when I worked with beautiful models who were, you know, scantily dressed, I didn't engage them. You know, it didn't mean my brain to say, "Woo, Lord," but they never saw my face say, "Woo, Lord." I never made the comment, "Woo, Lord," and nor did I act on the thought of, "Oh my God," because I can't get high on my own supply. So just knowing that when, as an entrepreneur, you got to separate yourself from your customer because they're trusting in you to guide them and protect them and get them somewhere, not partner with them. So you're business partners with them, but you're not, like, if I hired a driver and he'd like, and he's like, "Yo, I'm eating my food, won't you drive?" You'd be like, "Wait, what?" Like, I hired you as a professional driver. Yeah, but we all drive. What? Like, no, I need you to be a step above whatever I'm doing, right? And so I need you to lead the situation. So the reality is that, yes, you're in that business, and yes, you have to engage, but no, own that process as opposed to be victimized. So you're part of the creation or the innovation or the leadership, not vacuumed into the trends. It's a big difference. Even if you're engaging in exploiting trends, you're exploiting the trends, you're not the trend. It's a difference.
Yeah.
Big difference. You got to know how to separate those two. Otherwise, it's really easy. It's so, like,
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Almost, you gotta, if you're in worlds like the ones you're in, social media, podcasting, entertainment, music, sports, there's a current in those places that are very hyper. There's a hyper socialization that happens that getting high is really easy. Like, you just being in the environment, you can get high. So these type of environments, you got to be even more conscious. Like, if I sell, if I sell fruit at a fruit stand, it's hard to get high on their own supply. I'm just selling fruit, and I may get a couple people who love fruit that hype me up, but this is what it is. But when you're in the business of people, excitement, and lots of people, getting high is easy. So you got to even be more conscious not to get caught in the hype, because you can get caught in the hype and easily say, well, this is my business. So, this is my business. I'm in the business of people, so I got to be with the people. But really, you lost in the hype. And we've seen that. We've talked about it. Like if you get too consumed by the accolades and the praise and the pats on the back and the love of people, and then it changes you. It starts to change what you wear, how you dress, how you talk, what you buy, the stuff you buy. Then you a crackhead now to what you built, versus you clock in and you clock out, and when you out, you're you. And the version of you who built that, not the version of you who changed because of it.
Like you like, for example, if you was watching the NBA, right? The owners don't move like the players. The owners don't even.
Right.
None of that stuff's the same. Right. Nothing is the same. Like you were to stick with some owners, this is a business, and they're looking at it as X's and O's and strategies and moves. And so even when people are laughing, that's part of strategy. They don't look at that as, are people having a good time? That's part of strategy, and it's being measured. Even we got to measure this. People engagements and excitement. They're not so caught up in excitement. For example, when you said, there's a fudging that happened in your comment. If you said to me, I'm about to get 10,000 downloads, and I said, well, how much does that equate to a net profit? And if you can't say $10,000 plus dollars, then you're doing something to make the brain feel comfortable with the long journey process. Get where I'm going with this? No, you shouldn't be. You know why? Because you need to get to the things that draw. Because, okay, remember I said don't put rims on your business? That's how you start putting rims on your business. When you start getting caught up in other signals they're really noise signals and not actual signals that measures your progress of your business. Meaning that if I only made $10 this year, the only thing that's gonna matter is market share and profits. Now, net is a different responsibility because net is based upon the efficiency of the business. But if I get into like, I got 10,000 downloads, I got 40,000 downloads, I got 50,000 downloads, the thing comes down with that thing is that, are you making yourself feel better, or are you accurately engaging your industry for maximum growth? Go ahead.
So thank you for asking me that question, because I feel like I want to talk through it. One of my mentors that's in the food media industry talked to me about the fact, she said, look at what's happening, for example, with Vox Media, which owns the Eater, there's an Eater franchise for every city or locality. She said they're laying all of these people off in, eliminating these roles because the way people take information in this industry is changing. People are not reading papers anymore, and now people are not even clicking on websites to kind of read through all these articles. People are taking in their
about 5-6 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
People are taking in information through social media and podcasting, and what these large companies are realizing is that they're going to have to modify the way they're getting their information out. She said, what you're doing is you're establishing consistency, you're establishing reputation, you're establishing professionalism, so that when these companies get there and they're looking for people they can plug and play into this new format, they're going to be looking at people who've already established. So having those downloads, having built a community, having created consistency, having created relationships, all those things we talked about when we talked about leveraging, they're going to matter. So you need to be able to be in a head down working through this period until we get to that place. You need to be in that position. She told me that I feel like that's the right position for you to be in. And the fact that you're able to subsidize your living with your day job while you're doing that, great. You don't have to wait in pain, so to speak, right? So that's why I asked you that question about, should I not be? Because I feel like I'm in leveraging and compounding right now.
So okay, so let me. It's that thin line you're missing. Am I aware 10,000 downloads? Yeah. Would I say I'm really excited about getting there? No, I'm not excited. There's nothing there. If I ain't making no money, even 10,000, 12,000. Okay, how can I say this? If you had these measurements of smart positioning that can evolve into something else, like for example, you said, hey, I just got announced to the point that they're gonna let me do a podcast at the next Warriors game. I'm just making some. It's horrible, right? That's what I get excited for because that gives you a hella chance to get some boost in positioning. Here's the thing about business. You're in a room full of wolves and big dogs. While you're doing your 10,000, I'm already thinking about how I'm already about to build a turbo engine that's about to smash on you, right? While you're working at 10,000, doesn't mean that I might not hire you to work for me maybe one day. But I can best position that in this game that the way there's a whole bunch of principles here that I'm trying not to get into because there's some non-mathematical principles of the business you're in that trying to use a linear scaling system to be recognized for somebody to pick me is removing randomness, popularity, association, trust, familiarity, trending. All those type of other things are a part of that equation. So just looking at 9,000, 10,000 downloads, also 10,000 downloads over how long? How many years?
Over
2.5 years. So, and if I got 10,000 in one episode and you got 10,000 in 2.5 years, you see how much of a gap that is? As far as like you being in a room and translating that to a value offer. Now you may translate the ability to work in an industry. It doesn't translate as, so for example, you should be saying to yourself every day, you should constantly tune your brain to see your weaknesses. It's whether it's your show, whether it's positioning, whether it's whatever you're missing. You should be studying the industry so closely to the point you can say, all right, these are things I'm working on, right? No, I'm saying, but the 10,000, okay, anybody in this room that's an entrepreneur, that even online, if you're an entrepreneur and are you excited about any numbers you hit where there's no profit tied to it?
I didn't say the 10,000 for us to, get a band plan, but I do need to be watching the analytics.
Yeah, but it's not announcement worthy. I got a hell of shit that's happening. Like, for example,
that was an announcement.
No, you made an announcement. You framed it. Didn't she frame it, or was this me? Did she frame it like, hey, by the way, I'm hitting my 10,000 mark? I don't tell you, hey, by the way, I paid my mortgage and I paid my tuition. It's almost like that level. It's not saying it's not important that it has to be paid attention to, but you use it as a marker for yourself.
Can I?
That's what I'm trying to show you. You framed it as a marker. If you're talking to another entrepreneur, okay, if you came to me as an investor and you said, hey, I'm about to hit 10,000, what do you think about that? I'd be like, I don't know there's nothing here. I don't see nothing. Because the world's moving and making progress. It's not just you. The world's moving and making progress. If you're going to run in a business where there's high competition, the question is, one, how far can you scale? You got to be always clear about what your marker is, right? And then pay attention to your velocity. Because gradual growth is not necessarily, it's easy to look at that as a reward because you're not living and eating and drinking from that. But if I took you right now and say, I'm cutting off all your money, this is all you get. Untaxed, that's all you get. I promise you will see stuff you never saw before. I promise you will move in ways you never realized you could move before. And I promise you 10,000 will get changed really, really fast. Really, really fast. Business is not about, let me just finish to you. Business is not about doing good. It's about outrunning competition. Am I lying? Anybody wants to say, like, you do a good job means nothing in business. Can you outrun competition? And that's the hard thing about coping versus, still in coping versus conquer. I'm telling you conquer. You're telling me I'm coping. I'm like, no, are you conquering?
I'm not telling you either.
Huh?
I'm just keeping a track of where we are. I'm not.
Exactly. That's what coping is. That's what coping is. Go ahead, real quick.
When you say that you don't have to be the best, is this sort of like
what's happening with basketball now, where the NBA has a diminished product compared to FIBA and the Olympics, but their ability to communicate to people and broadcast and market and sell beats everyone else.
I think the original point was about not getting high on your own supply. So if you're in a world that has high hype around emotions and people, then you could sell it. You could sell it. Be in it, sell it. If your job is the nightlife and you got to go to the club on Fridays and Saturday nights, you can go to the club, but don't get caught up in the nightlife. You know, like I got a partner, it's a DJ, a popular DJ in the Bay. I love how he moves. You know, married, got a family, good guy, takes care of his family. But he's in the nightlife scene, and he rips that shit down, packs his stuff, and goes home. He don't drink. He don't drink like that. He don't be smoking like that because he sells it. He gets everybody going crazy at the club, but he doesn't use it. And so that's point number one is we sell it. Part of the game we teach in this class is not for consumption. It's for distribution. So, and that's an important distinction. It's for distribution. And I'll tell you this one story. I met Dave Chappelle one time. I kicked it with Dave Chappelle with him in the backstage after a comedy show. And when I went back there, I'm thinking he gonna have the same voice he had when he was on stage. And so I sit down, he's like, "What's up, man? What you do?" "What?" And I start talking about what I do. We shake hands, and we have this deep intellectual conversation. That's like, oh, that's my persona that I built. Like we had a conversation about regular ass conversation, like I'm talking to y'all, because his signal to me was I don't get high off none of that shit. Like I sell this shit, but I don't let it consume me. That's how you go far. That's how you don't get caught up in none of the shit, none of the numbers, the money you make, nothing. Black Vines, is another one where you could easily, because Black Vines is such a dope experience, and so many people come from all these places, and it's such a beautiful event. Like you can get lost in just the sauce of that one event by itself. And everybody want to see Fern. Where's Fern? Where's Fern? Where's Fern? But afterwards, Fern is just Fern again. What? Yeah, no, I'm, back to what I need to do. I don't let this shit move me. And that's all we're saying.
Fern, matter of fact, Fern, if you had this, let me show you another workplace I saw this happen. There was a big thing called the White Party they used to have in Oakland. Mm-hmm. You ever been to White Party, how packed that was? Mm-hmm. So I asked some of the head leaders of the group, because we were real close with the cats. What's the most y'all ever made? The most they ever made was $2,000 a piece. That's the most they've ever made. Meaning that they could have been like, we had 50,000 people, 100,000, 200. Yeah, that's a good selling point. And those are cool things to understand. But did they monetize it right? Did they maximize the return on that? Now, I would want to believe that if Fern had that amount of people, she would monetize it differently and maximize those numbers differently. That's where the business conversation is happening. I don't care if she has 100,000 people and she tells me I went home with $10,000. I'm like, my face is going to crunch up. Like, you did all that for $10,000? Like, what are we missing here? And to mind you, the White Party had more money than they could have pulled, but they were getting high on their own supply. They felt the status of their growth and the numbers of what they were doing. They weren't looking at that bottom line as the only thing that matters, which shapes the all that stuff you're doing. But if you start getting caught up in this, you'll lose focus of all this here. And then when the checks and everything clears, the smoke clears, and you get pay off everybody, you're like, I paid for this shit? You mean I came out of my pocket to pay for this? But all those people showed up? That's why I don't care about a lot of those smaller numbers, because they become like distraction to my brain. I want to know the hard numbers. How much did I make? How much did I spend? Because let's say you are capable of being successful 5 or 10 years from now, but how much did that cost you? And did you buy a house? Or did you buy some land thinking I'm gonna build a house fresh, and you really spent $3 million as opposed to buying that one house for $1 million, but you didn't build it, so it felt different. So just because you have a business doesn't mean that business is the best business. If the cost of ramping the business, growing the business, sustaining the business, maintaining the business is so damn high, but there is movement, but does that movement make sense? Go ahead, Fern.
Yeah, I have a question a little bit more in that conquering space, because and it's kind of tied to in that social space. Right now, there's a lot of attention to the brand, and we have a lot of things happening where we're going to touch so many different people. And our goal is to, how do we leverage this energy around what we have going right now? Because the thing is, lost opportunities are now is money out of my pocket, and I don't like not having money. I'm really trying to separate my emotional attachment to it, like for real. I'm trying to be happy without it, because there's times where I'm like, I don't feel good when I ain't got no money, and it's impacting other phases of my life. So I say that to say, where we're at, there's this momentum, and we want to be able to capitalize on the momentum right now, because there's not a guarantee that we'll be in this position again. And so it's kind of like, how do you leverage that upward? It's almost like a mini hype cycle. How do you leverage yourself and position yourself to monetize at that stage? Because there's just it's more things coming, and so we want to be able to like get all the benefit of it at this point in time.
You remember a long time ago we talked about when it comes to your business, identifying your value of what your business has to give to the public, not what you do. So, for example, you're in a kind of similar position. You guys are kind of doing something very similar, not different magnitudes, but there's a trust variable there, right? You're in the business of trust, right? And you become a relationship to, at this point, you've used the product of wine to develop trust around the product of wine, right? Well, if trust is your product, can it be wrapped in other ways? So, for example, if I'm into fine drinks, fine foods, fine experiences, where else could this brand have a role as can you turn that brand from a service you're providing to a carriage? A carriage is what people go through to gain access to something else, right? So what carriage opportunities do you have? Other thing too is when you're there, I think your events are opportunities for insights. Insights can give you opportunities to see other business opportunities that I can possibly see from the outside. Because right now I'm just speculating or using hypothesis. But when you actually have an event like that and you're asking people like, hey, why are you here? What's the value to you? And you start to gather that information, that data, that can help you engage your next tested idea, right? Even some smart collaborations that can actually monetize you some returns that are happening off camera. Even brand alignment. So, for example, if I go to your wine event, I consider myself this kind of person. Well, what else could you sell to me or help me validate this kind of person? Where Actively Black had an angle on clothing that most people didn't have, that made me buy their clothing. Because when I bought Actively Black, I was actively acknowledging my love for blackness, my love for my blackness, right? So when somebody goes to your wine event, what does it say about them? Then at that point, what other services and products could you give them to help them feel better about what they see about them? How do you protect the status of people who go to your event to say that I go to these kind of events, which helps me see this about myself? That I gave you the foundation of your innovation. Innovation happens on your team because you guys have much more. I'm on the outside view versus inside view. But once your team is ready to have that, then you guys start testing these possibilities of certain things you can actually. So now your goal is to, how do we turn Black Vines into a whole year experience? All year long, there's different touch points, whether it's the foods you're drinking, whether it's clothing you're purchasing, whether it's events you're participating in, endorsed by Black Vines. So Black Vines has this following that brings this whole lifestyle and culture that goes with it. It becomes huge.
Also, too, this, I'm going back to you, Kaja, is you said a statement about growing without pain. Your mentor said the word growing without pain.
We're just talking about being able to get subsidized while you build your business.
Right.
I still have plenty of pains with what I'm doing.
Okay. So, my where I was going is the last week's class where we said there's more. There's always more. It's not a saying more so than it is a thinking, right? It's a mentality of damn, I'm missing something. There's more. I'm missing something. There's money on the table that I'm missing. I know there's more. Not from a greed perspective. Not from a greed perspective, but from a perspective of, damn, it's something I'm missing. Because I'm not where I want to be. I'm not where I want to be. Where I want to be is here, and I'm here, and I'm not down on myself because I'm not here. It's just I'm just sniffing. I'm sniffing everything out, and I know there's more. 'Cause that's the root. That's the core of what a wolf is. That's the core of entrepreneurism. You got to add that to your programming to say, I'm here. All right, good job. Good job. But there's more. So you almost don't even talk about your shit because you like, oh fuck, I'm missing so much right now. Some of us do it in the class because we get to certain points and you feel good about what you hit or where you are. I'm not saying you feel good, but I'm saying like I'm doing this, or I got this much, or I did this much. It's how you can tell when somebody's feeling themselves. I made this much money, or I'm not hurting, or I did this revenue. And waiting for the like, you did? Oh man, good job. But me, there's always more. What you miss? Was the money on the table that you missing? What's your growth strategy like? What you looking for? Good job, but there's more. And it's not it's not from greed. It's from growth. It's not from greed. It's from expansion, being progressive. And it's a thought process more than it is a word. So don't think at home or it comes from a place of greed. It comes from a place of growth. Does that make sense? Does that help?
May I? One of the things that I think about is distraction of the mind. Because numbers are funny. Like most people, even when we're really on top of it, we like to distort numbers because our egos and our press secretaries and our value is tied to them. So, and I will say that I have done this many of times, so I'm not speaking from a high horse. I think the danger of putting value on that 10,000 is your brain hears 10,000 and it translates value the same way that your brain would translate value to dollars, even if you can articulate that that's not the case. And so then there's this opportunity where, you know how they say, if you talk about it, your brain will use the resource to think that you've already accomplished the task just from talking about it. I think of that when we talk about benchmarks in our business the same way, where you'll be like, oh, well, I got downloads or likes or this many numbers on a phone list or an email list. You start to equate these numbers that haven't yet generated revenue as something that's valuable, when it's not that it's not valuable yet or it doesn't have the potential to be valuable. They're possibilities. But I think that when you don't think the process down the line of what are those possibilities and what could they turn into and how do you leverage them, I think that that's where it starts to get tricky as a person that's attempting to build a business, because again, our brain is just so hooked on that big number and what the potential of it could be, but we tend to not think about, and then what do I do with that? And what does that really mean? And how much of that 10,000 are numbers that will turn into dollars? And what is the retention of that? Like, there's just like a big thought process ecosystem that happens with downloads. Like, I had 100,000 something followers, and I launched a t-shirt business back then, and I think I sold like 20 shirts. But I had all these people that wanted to do all these sales. I mean, over 100,000 people, like legitimately, like not for, like, I had like a large following, magazines, like all this stuff. And I was like, y'all, I'm set. They finna buy my stuff. Everybody said it's tight and everything. All these downloads, all these followers, all these things. And it converted into me making a very big purchase because I had signs of potential, but the numbers weren't there. And so I say that because I think that it's not a bad thing to know your numbers, but know what each number means. And then what is the responsibility to knowing that number for what the next step is?
Remember when I told you was going to sell them before you even sold them?
Yes.
Did you get irritated with me when I told you?
Yes, I did.
She was extremely irritated with me.
I was like, I'm
gonna say something really bold, and I'm gonna say something bold that I can I'm gonna reinforce this. I'm gonna teach it next week. But a lot of times there's assumption that you understand my inference, and I'm sure you don't. I'm gonna show you next week when I bring my class how, Kaja, your business model. So you know how you don't know you're defensive? Because I mean, I sat with you when we called you defensive. You said, "No, I don't really see it." Right? That was your own admission, right? Okay. I'm going to show you next week how your defensiveness has shaped everything that you see about business. Your podcast.
Let me just say this, because I love y'all, but I'm getting irritated, and I'm just being honest about how I feel. I only mentioned 10,000 to contextualize the question.
That's how you framed it. We heard you. We all heard you, Kaja. That's how you framed it.
Can I just?
Go ahead.
Thank you. I only said 10,000 to contextualize the question about being in a space where you are assigning any value to outside voices, because I can't run up the numbers by listening to it myself. I need people to listen. So 10,000, 1,000, 5,000, 8,000. I only brought it up, contextualize the question. I'm not sounding an alarm on 10,000. I'm not saying I've arrived and the spotlight is on me, 10,000. I'm not saying 10,000 and here comes the check, 10,000. I only said 10,000 to contextualize the question. I mean, clearly I would have to be aware that there is still hills to climb. The only thing that 10,000 allows me to do is to potentially say to a PR company who may be looking to acquire a podcast for their network, to say, hey, this is what I've done. These are the downloads. This is where it stands currently, which I need to know. But I just want you to know that I'm not standing on the 10,000 as a meaning or a marker of anything. It just was to contextualize the question about getting in bed, so to speak, with the people who are listening to and ascribing to whatever it is you're doing.
I was going to jump on that too. So the premise of us teaching this class is to teach the one of the big principles that we teach is you build with the mindset that they ain't coming. Build with the mindset that they ain't coming. Do not build with any mindset, and that's for anybody. Do not build a business that is going to get acquired one day, or a big brand's going to come down and buy it, or a company, because that strategy is a losing strategy. If you build with the mindset that ain't nobody coming to save you, buy it from you, nothing. You eat what you kill. Then that way, the nuances of your business, in the building in the business, the pain that comes with that mindset forces you to do better, to do more, to build it. The numbers you see is the numbers you see. The money you make is the money you make. Then, if for whatever reason, or if it happens to somebody 10 years down the line wants to acquire or buy or whatever, that's ancillary. But the purpose of this class is to help you all, and for you to really grasp that don't ever build nothing at the beginning stages with the thought process, with the purpose of somebody, because now you're basically going from one job to another. You're going from an employee from a company to an employee to a hopeful employee to a hope that a bigger employer comes and buys something from you. So you go employee to employee. You see what I'm saying? So you quit being you go from a dog to a wolf back to a dog when you are relying on a big entity to come save you. Hell no. You're a wolf. You're a fucking wolf. And so you want to, if that ever, you don't want to need nobody. You built something for you. You built it for you and to build your entity with the mindset that they are not coming. And that's everybody, because that's a thought too. And people will feed that shit into you. Like, somebody could buy you one day. Yeah, but I'm not thinking about that shit. You build it to generate revenue, to grow, to have impact on your community with the idea that ain't nobody coming to save your ass. Nobody. Now, can that happen? Sure, but don't move with that energy. That way, it protects you. So, what we're talking to you about is if you allow it to absorb, this is one of the key elements you need. I love it that you're irritated. I love that shit.
Yeah, but no, let me stop that. No,
because
I don't. I'm gonna freeze you, Kaja. You're gonna hurt yourself. I have no skin in the game. I'm not. Trust me. I'm not mad at you. Nor do I have any wins or losses from your wins or losses. You just take a loss. You know why? Because you created a wall for me to have to climb to help you. There's no reason for you to be irritated. I'm disagreeing with you. If you traveled this path and had hella winds behind you, and I go, that path would never work. You're like, I just finished the path, Nana. No, I'm gonna tell you why it wouldn't work, because some overthinking. Then that might be a little space where you like, and if I say, Kaja, as a woman, you're stupid, then you have every reason to be irritated. Here's a business. I say, this Samsung is not that strong. You know what? I'm tired of you talking about my Samsung. Did you just personalize something that has not profited you? And if for somebody who cared enough, like Kaja, if I really was to do that, whatever, I would be like, okay, cool. So anyway, let's go on to the next slide. Right? But I sat here, and I'm sure there's somebody online going, all right, let's move on. Let's move forward. Because her business, I'm going to tell you how the wolves are talking right now. I'm going to tell you what the wolves are saying. She ain't making a profit. Why are we still talking about this? Am I lying, wolves? Get honest about it. Let's just get honest for a second. Do wolves want to hear me have this conversation if she's not making money? That's just the game. The game we're in is so crazy that we get cut so fast, like we can die so fast. This woman been sitting here the whole time talking about, I took a stab. This shit is wounding me. This hurts like a motherfucker, right? You don't know what that is yet, and it's okay. You're about to find out, because I believe that you're going to eventually cross over. But what I'm suggesting to you is that if somebody comes to you and tells you, hey, bad idea, there's no reason for irritation. Is let's explore, let's exhaust it, and then let me go out and do my research and come back to the table with some ownership. Because ultimately, you have to have the agency. It's not for me to have your agency for you. Once you start bringing that language of I'm offended right now. Also, here's the other thing too, which we'll get into in a second. All of us lie to ourselves. Everybody in this room lies to themselves. Am I lying? Everybody lies to themselves because your brain does it automatically without your knowledge. Yeah. Don't ever assume how you see yourself is how we all see you. And don't ever assume that I'm just saying this because I'm just being, what's my motivation? What is my motive? Once again, I make no money from this. This is purely me giving back. So if I'm helping, I'm like, yo, Kaja, be careful with that number. I used to do this with her for years. She used to throw numbers at me all the time, like, that doesn't mean shit. At all. Your bottom line. Because at the end of the month, when them bills come, they don't care about not one of those words. And because you have a job, a lot of distortions can seep in that between the space of you having a job and start your business. There's a lot of people who can feed bullshit to you. And you got to be able to, you have to turn your brain up to the point where you're like, bullshit. Some of them come in like, I can help you reposition, and then if you just pay me 5 G's, I can get you where I can get you 7,000. But they're running this code that gets this false information, gets 7,000. Now you got 15,000. Anybody that knows technology knows this happens. You get 15,000 now in 1 month. You're like, shoot. And then you using what I said. Like I said, I can show you how a lot of stuff you design is defensively driven more than offensively driven. You looking for somebody to choose you is a defensive approach more than an offensive approach. And I can show you this, but it's going to take a whole goddamn class to show you how the brain works with defense and how it helps us shape our plans, our models, our structures, and how we want to move forward. So when you're talking to me, I'm hearing the infusion of your defensive thinking, but defensive thinking is not always like mad, angry, stop, leave me alone. It changes the way we plan for tomorrow. We don't plan the same because we don't think certain things are going to work out. Are we participating? Are we expecting certain things not to, like certain resistance, or we're looking at our past failures? All these things are integrated into our decision making. So when we try to dream, our dream is only going this far when dreaming should be unlimited. So when I say I could jump into this way further, I have deeper inference in this, I can show you way more complexity. I'm just trying to get to the other slides, and I'm going to do, I said, I'm willing to show you the next class, but to get to the point that you're angry with me, and that's dangerous for you, not for me.
That's facts. That's facts.
Like leave that out of business. Like honestly, everybody, I'm saying this for the class, not really just for you. Leave that kind of talk. This is why black people, we're stuck in the same, it's not just you, it's our culture. Like when you did that, the reason I wasn't uncomfortable with it.
That's why I said I'm glad she did it.
Yeah, because as black folks,
it gets to show everyone this is the part where you stuck.
Where we get hooked.
This is the part where you stuck now. That's what's dope about you being irritated is now you just see in real time, oh, this is where I'm stuck. Because until you dislodge that irritation, you ain't gonna go nowhere. But it's good that we got you. Because it happens to black people so much in general.
So much.
It happens to black folks. We don't want to hear that shit. And when we get irritated, I don't want to hear no more.
That's when you got to go away, have the courage to conquer yourself.
Yeah.
Put your anger, put your anger down. Say, shut the fuck up. I'm got to be in this conversation. And even I can still feel it to this day. I can take it. Oh, I feel like, oh, goddamn. Is that blood on my nose? But I realize this motherfucker's trying to help me. So just don't even, matter of fact, sometimes I won't even ask a question because I already know my question is going to have a little of that old school East Oakland defense in it. So I'd be like, because my question might be like, so what the fuck are you trying to say? See, that was too much. Right? As opposed to like, all right, give me more.
Yep. I was in the middle of a big negotiation. I had somebody helping me, right? It's my company. It's my shit. I got the experience. But I didn't have the experience that he had. So I'm doing the shit my way. And I'm in a conversation and we're brainstorming about it. And I say, and he's irritating me. What can you know about what I'm like? Chill out, bro. You know what he told me? Court, I've done 200 of these. You've done none. Do you want to do it by you want to have it? You want it? Or you want me to help you? I said, you got it, my brother. I'll play the Robin and you can be Batman. Because he has the experience. I don't. So let me shut the fuck up and play my role. And it allowed me to watch him move masterfully versus me fighting, trying to push my weak ass experience in the front. Because that's would have been where I was stuck.
On the other side of conquering, because I get what you're saying as far as sometimes having to suck things in and not feel. Give knowledge to the. Hey, I ain't doing that.
Wait, hold on. He ain't ever got nobody.
Come on now.
What a comedy kid that got the Dave Chappelle moment. Go ahead.
No, but the other side of it, from what I look at, and it's in a mindful space, kind of, is taking that irritation and feeling it all the way through, and getting curious about like what caused that.
100%. That's it.
Why is that? Like, what is the root? But also feel it. That's why I was saying, like, feel it, because it'll be gone. It'll be gone in a little bit. But once we hold it and we don't address it and we don't like look at it from all the different shit, like all the different angles, then we really never are able to get to the root. And I think there's a root that I know we can't spend our class on just this, but I think there's a deeper level that I love talking about, how we gonna get this money and all the strategies and stuff. By the way, the stuff that's being retaught in the class is dope on so many different levels now.
Thank you.
That the way that I'm being able to take it and actually put it into action is fucking amazing.
Right on.
But also with this class, being able to see a raw emotion getting processed and then through that throughput to resolution and understanding, I think that's also equally as important, because a lot of people, first of all, never put themselves in that vulnerable state to be able to have this discussion and go further through the final piece. And I think that the irritation could be even dug into a little deeper to resolution.
The other day, I got a phone call from this college because they had received an audit. I don't get into all the details, but the information they received was wrong about my company. And Tennille calls me after I just left the gym, right? So I'm riding home, chilling, in good mood, and I get this information, and it's just all these false accusations about what we're doing over here. So as she's telling me, my blood pressure's going up. What the fuck? What? And I started making my lawyer argument to Tennille immediately. But then Tennille had to go because she's away working on this project for Hope. So as I got upset, within 4 blocks, I did what you said. 4 blocks. I mean that anger hit me. I said, wait a minute, Nana, this is some bitch shit for you to be in this role. Anger? What the fuck are you gonna do for you? This is exactly, I'm telling you what I'm going through because I felt it, right? And I was like, yo, first of all, business ain't meant to work the way you want to. Your job is to be agile. So what's the fuck's the solution? And if you don't have a solution, then how did you fuck up? But what you ain't gonna do is sit around here and get upset and angry. Come with a plan. What's your action? Also, what is possible? And 2, what's your extra moves? So then it became a charge to me of what I need to do because I went to radical responsibility as an act. Meaning that I get angry, then I said, well, why am I angry? And once you start being angry, you'll start hearing some things like, well, he's disrespecting you. Wait a minute, what is disrespect? Is he taking money out of my pocket? No, my money's still cool. He over here touching on me? No, he ain't touching on me. Is he in my car, like just trying to do donuts in the parking lot? No. Okay, then I may be amplifying a little bit here. Right? Is he trying to be more valuable to me? Well, what would be his incentive to be more valuable to me? I don't know. Maybe just like there's nothing here. And so at that point, it's past framing, showing up to the moment going, oh, here's another one of those situations again. And it's like, no, there's nothing here. Because in the end, I'm saying, look, if you were just doing this as a whole, there's a reason we keep saying, hey, having a job is dangerous because it threatens the hunger for the momentum. Like there's a hunger that we have to have where you got to say, yo, I got to get from here to here. Fuck what I got to get from here to here. And the shit you do at that moment, which nobody else in that room is bold enough to do, is what separates you from everybody else. That's it. The person, if you like everybody else and be like, yo, that's too hard. Yeah, that's hard. No, that's hard. That's hard. Then none of us, we just a group of people of equality, but none of us are made like that. That we don't have that wolf in us that gets past that certain point. But at some point, we have to say in our minds, yo, I don't know where the fuck I'm going, but I'm going through that wall. And then when I get through that wall, I'm going to figure this shit out because at the end of the day, I can't stay here. And that kind of mindset, like when I'm listening to you talking to me, what I try and do is, okay, I could have not said that what I said to you and left all that alone, but I want to use this class to really teach us as opposed to pamper us. Because too many often we take these courses now, especially in it's just social justice era for the last 7 years, we're going to get pampered over taught. And teaching should make us feel fucking uncomfortable. If I go to class, I'm like, oh, this makes me feel like I know everything you're saying. I don't know why I'm here. Go ahead.
I agree with you with the whole I'm gonna walk through the wall because you told me that on Saturday. Taking back to the tough talk because you gave me some tough talk. I'm gonna keep it real. You gave me some tough talk, but it's the tough talk that I needed, not that I wanted, that I needed because you were just being real with me. You were giving me advice that I haven't heard from anybody because some people are just yes men, and they just, be like, yeah, you're doing great. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. They just be like, oh, you're doing great when I'm not doing great, and they just, pull me down, and I just, oh, how the fuck am I going down? What the fuck is going on here? So, yeah, I really appreciate the call that we had on Saturday.
Yeah, right.
Kind of opened my eyes on a lot of things. So, I just want to.
By the way, you clean. You know, the way you dress. I don't know what it is I like about your outfit, but you're clean.
Thank you.
All right. All right, let's go. Let's get to the next slide because
Is that slide number 2?
that's slide number 1.
That's slide number 1?
Let's go. Yeah, you take the lead on it. You take it. Go ahead.
Who knows what this is? I'm asking. Who knows what this is? I want somebody to explain what this is. This is a class. This is for you to answer. Anybody? All right.
Well, it's the equivalent of your physical workout, but from a doing perspective. So actually doing the work, actually feeling the pains, actually pushing through to the other side of the other side of whatever it is that you're going through, because there's a bigger piece, but there's a purpose in it all. So the purpose is allowing you to go through the pains of the tension that you feel in the moment. That's what I pull from it.
Okay, anybody else? Jordan?
I remember you saying something like always being at the edge of yourself. So when I think of a cognitive time under tension, I'm thinking of like stripping your beliefs and how you think about things, and being under that mental pressure of having to do more.
You added a little sauce to it. Anybody else?
I took it as like stress, like, but I'm glad that you have the slide up so I can get it again. But that's how I take it, like stress. Like it's the last couple reps in the gym.
So that's the best answer, right? Is the last couple of reps are the hardest reps. The last couple of reps are the reps that actually gives you the transformation. It's not the first 8 that was easy. That's in physical form. Mentally, cognitive time under tension is the conversation that we just had with Kaja. The uncomfortableness, the pain of the conversation, because the transformation is at the root of that uncomfortableness, because that's rep number 9, 9.5, 10. I want to give up. I want to quit. I don't know if I want to do this no more. Fuck this shit. It hurts, but I'm going to get through it. Tomorrow you just got bigger. Same with mentally, cognitively. The next day you just got bigger. That's why it's tough for to the equivalent of just gathering knowledge. I don't care if it feels good to you. I care if you use it, you apply it, and it works for you. I want it to work for you. So in order for it to work for you, you have to take this knowledge, the game, the knowledge, whatever you receive, and you have to process it, and you got to execute on it. You got to do it, try it. And what Jordan said also is a part of it. The only way you get there is at the edge of yourself. When you're at the last 9, 10 reps, you're at the edge of yourself, right? You're not in the middle or early. You're at the edge. So cognitive time under tension is the key. If you don't feel pain in any of the things you learning, whether that's being uncomfortable, being irritated, disagreeing, it hitting your ego, and you're like, nah, I can't be. I don't believe that. I'm not with that. This ain't working. I tried it, but it's not working. Like those are the key telltale signs that you're under tension. If you just two snaps or feels good or you agree with every motherfucking thing, that don't do shit. Don't do shit. But allows you to you load it high, and now you start talking about all of this high fashion knowledge shit to your partners.
High fashion knowledge. I'm sorry. Love that phrase.
You know what I'm saying? It does no good. It does us no good. There's a brother in the gym that I've tried to help hella times just to like give him shit, and he tries to think he's funny, turning it back on me. And he's like, you ever read a book called Ego is the Enemy? Because we referred that book to him. Yeah, it's a great book. It's a great book. Meanwhile, bruh ain't changed a bit. Bruh ain't built nothing. He made no money. You know what I'm saying? And I don't even want to say the job that he has because I don't want to disrespect that job and make it seem like that's a low level job or something, not a good starting point job. But bruh got the equivalent of like working at McDonald's or some shit. But he making fun of the book that I tried to refer to him. So I couldn't hold back. I had to say some shit. You ever heard the book Ego is the Enemy? I said, yeah, it made me millions. Fuck you talking about? Made me millions. It's making me millions. That book. That's the equivalent of shut the fuck up. You know why? Because you didn't even want to read the book because your ego wouldn't allow you to be referred a book by somebody after I told you and doubled down with my partner on the same book. But your ego wouldn't allow you to, so I'm going to make fun of you with it. So once you absorb it, now you have to apply it. I wrote something down for this class to talk about this too. And I went to a negotiation class, spent some money taking a negotiation class a while back, years back, because we had lost a salesperson. I had nobody in sales. So I had to learn sales and get in there. So I first took a class. And it was a pretty good class on sales and negotiations. Pretty good. And in a classroom setting, man, it was like you broke off in the teams and you applied the stuff they told you apply. And there's all these good tricks and psychology tricks. I got out there in the real world and got hit with some basic shit and I froze. Like a little bee. And I'm like, damn, I took that class and I thought I had it and I couldn't even get to first base past my training. So it wasn't like the information wasn't good. I just had no tension with it. So how do you get tension? You go out there and do it again. Like, all right, next time I ain't going to freeze up. I'm going to acknowledge. And I got a little further. Now I get to use more of what I learned because I got past the pieces that I was stuck at the beginning. And over time, I was able to get around the bases and really use what I learned. But I needed the real tension. You know how long it took me? Months. Hella negotiations of like, fuck that one up. Lost that one. At least I got to second base though. Fuck that one up. I was rounding second, but then I got tagged out. But I just monitored me going around the bases. So when Jordan and them come to me and I'm like, just do this, just do that. Let me talk to the customer. It sounds like I'm just talking regular English, not realizing that it was all, and they're like, damn, how did you get that when they was cussing me out? It's from all the times of the tension that I've been under in negotiation. That's the same thing with everything else.
Let me say this real quick to support that. When I first started 510 Media, I was reading the stuff I wanted to read. Photography, design, some of the marketing information. But there were books unconsciously I was avoiding. Let's just be real. There were certain books I'm like, yeah, but I think I could do it this way. But it was really, I was trying to avoid the tension. And then I got to a point where, during that point, I always highlighted how I went to that era where I was so broke that, you know, I was spending $20 a week for food. A week, not a day, a week. And I decided, you know what? I'm gonna push past my tension, because the problem I used to have when I used to read, I would fall asleep. Like I read third page, I'm like, because couldn't find out I was wearing the wrong glasses. It was a host of reasons. So I trained my brain to stop at a certain tension point because it was a statement of my personal value. So I started to read more and more. And the first book I read, I thought, oh, look at me. I finished my first book in this many years. But then it got to a point I got comfortable just reading books. But the books weren't, after a while, stopped giving me attention. You know why I put out less podcasts than I put out before? Because the books I read right now shows me the gaps in a lot of these podcasts. A lot of gaps in their thinking, a lot of gaps in their logic, right? I'm trying not to flood the class with some of this stuff I'm reading, but there's certain books I read, like, for example, Nassim Taleb books, Black Swan, Skin in the Game, Fooled by Randomness. Those books, it's like the closest thing to a Bible experience. And I'm not comparing to the Bible. Pastor Chris, don't be knocking on my door this evening talking about don't do that again. But I'm not comparing it to the Bible. What I'm highlighting is that every time I read that book, I reach a new layer of growth. And every time I read it, it's tension. There's always a section I don't understand. I don't even know what the hell fuck he's talking about. And then I'll learn some other shit, go out and run out in the field and learn some new shit, come back, read the book again and go, oh, I know what that means now. I know what that means. I know what that means. I don't know what this means now. That book has so many layers of knowledge. And what happens is then I grab one of these pop business books or self-help books, and it seems like I'm going, Sally chased John up the hill. She wanted to get a pail of water. She took her dog up. That's what it feels like I'm reading when I read these other books. I listen to some podcasts, I'm thinking, oh my God, this is that bias, that distortion, that's bullshit. That's not even a thing. That's not even possible. You just took a popular saying to articulate your point because you're being spotlighted, so your ego is being integrated into this conversation when you really don't know what the fuck you talking about, right? And these are podcasts that maybe 5 years ago I would have been like, here y'all go. This is a great podcast. Because it's saying something I wanted to say in class or something that's being missed in the conversation. But now I'm like, yeah, it's saying some things you want to say in class, and that's a good point. But it's also echoing a lot of mental distortions. And if my people are already trying to get out of this fucking distortion game, I don't want to take them from one distortion to another distortion just because one is dressed white clothes with a suit on, another one's dressed with no suit on, right? We got to learn how not to sit in a room with a person with great charisma, popularity, degrees, and not be manipulated. Can you do that? Can you sit in a room with somebody with looks good, got degrees, they're very, very popular, got charisma, and say to yourself, bullshit? Right. Do you know the systems and the level of study? And so the way you get there is you don't realize how. Okay, I was raised by an uncle who was a master con artist. That's all he ever did. He never had a legitimate job, and he was never broke. If your grandmother says somebody got me for thousands, it probably was my uncle. That's how cold this motherfucker was. I am not exaggerating. Like we didn't stop being close until he turned his con on me one time. And I was like, yo, did you just try to con me? Like, you raised me since a kid. I used to go with him to do cons, right? This is how cold this cat is, right? The people that's easiest to con is those who avoid tension. I'm gonna keep it simple. And in business, which I'm gonna get to a slide coming up, don't ever assume you're not the mark. It happens every day. Every day. Shakina, this is early. This is before she started her business. Business is not even on her mind yet. She's still just trying to raise her daughter, right? This is like, I got Nana. I want to figure out how to take care of my daughter. That's the only thing that matters. For all this shit, other shit, these fancy words, take care of my daughter. This is before there was a whole class, before she was a photographer. This is early modeling Shakina. So we had the GM training because Shakina just, she the first time I asked her to train with me, she cussed me out. She called me all kind of names. I'm not gonna repeat them because my spirit was hurt. So we trained at the gym, and mind you, we played basketball. She'll tell the story how I beat her up on the basketball court because she could shoot. So, but I'm bigger, so I'm like, well, it's like Shaq playing.
Ran me into the wall.
Well, that's next time you know how to avoid it. Don't
Slammed me into a glass wall.
Yeah,
y'all.
it's all true. It's all true. So anyway, but I won. I won by force. Right? It doesn't matter. Hey, I'm from old school. So, but at some point, this dude walks up to us, and we training. It was me, her, and Kev. Right? We used to be training together. Earth the jerk, Kev. He used to train with us. And this dude came up to us and said, yeah, I've been training people here and I got 4 gyms. And Shakina didn't like tension. Shakina's always like, well, maybe he does have that. And I was like, so he's running this game at her and he's telling us all the story about his gym and how he's built this stuff like this. And when he walked away, I said, I know you don't believe that shit, right? No, but maybe he does. I said, God damn this motherfucker here, right? She was like that for years where she kept giving people chances because she was trying to avoid the friction.
Yeah.
When she started to embrace the friction of her, I'm going to be a business owner, it's almost like a wall goes up and the bullshit stops. So I'm just saying, you guys, like, reason you got to get used to tension because the world, if you go back to that previous slide, just go back to the previous slide real quick. It's the same slide. The world is trying to cope. Ain't nobody trying to conquer, and conquering is full of tension. Every day I wake up, every day I'm waking up, I'm conquering. I just got the letter back from the college. College says no more documents needed. That was well said, right? I formed a whole argument that took their ordinance, the college ordinance, the state ordinance, combined the two, showed there was no loophole avoidances. This is how we're complying and how the distortions are coming. Hey, based on this letter, we don't need to have another conversation, right? What I'm trying to explain to you is that when attention arrived, I wrote a masterful letter in response. Calm, no defense. There was no defensive tone. Matter of fact, what I continue to argue for is I want to protect our relationship because I enjoy the relationship that 510 Media has with the College of Alameda. So this is why I want to bring clarity. Not, I'm offended that you would think, you're cool. Because they actually at one point told me I was lying, that I don't have a nonprofit. I'm like, I'm registered with the feds. What you talking about? I don't have a nonprofit. But instead of me trying to be all tacky with it, I did all offensive, positive engagement. I didn't feel like that when I first sat down. But I knew you can't move like that in business because in a space of tension, I got to move a certain kind of way. Because when I'm in tension is a signal to my brain, okay, it's serious now. But don't let the seriousness distort your movements and make you play in ways that causes you to fail. Like, I'm playing against Rodman. I like girls. Rodman grabbed my ass for a purpose. He's trying to get me to the point I'm so mad that I don't go for I don't even position for a rebound because I know he's going to touch me again. Right? Rodman did this. Rodman dominated a lot of cats. He would touch him on the butt and he'd be like, man, let him get that rebound. I'm done. I'm not doing this no more. Right? I know in business, people will use whatever. There's no rules in fighting. People will come at you in ways you don't even imagine, and just at some point, because what they're trying to achieve is a position on you, and you got to know that. You got to know that. Everybody that you engage in business are not thinkers. Some people are just doing their job and just stamping this, and then you just happen to be stamped incorrectly. And if you call them and be like, yo, I'm offended you stamped me like this person's going to do nothing but sabotage you because they don't have hey, can we just get rid of that person? That's it. It ain't that deep. They don't be like, oh, that person cares. This is a good. The world, you got to know how to move in this space.
It's all tension.
It's all tension.
It's all tension.
You don't never get a chance to walk away from it.
Do you guys remember the talk about progressive mindset versus perfection mindset? Mm-hmm. You know what another word for progression is? Growth, right? Mm-hmm. You know what growth is? Growth is tension. You're at the edge of yourself. So you're bumping up against the edge of yourself. You're entering to the edge of yourself. Every time you grow, you're entering a space that you weren't before. And there's pain involved. There's a mixture of chemicals and electricity that happens that pushes and forces you to be bigger than you were before. And that don't.
I'm not gonna pause none of this. I'm not, Pastor Chris. You wrong, Pastor Chris. You wrong. Go ahead. Pastor Chris, you just stop being petty, Pastor Chris. Go ahead.
And
Go ahead.
so
bro. I'm
I've been
protecting
so
you, bro. I'm
careful. I've been so careful. I've been so careful. It ain't no getting around it. That's why we advocate for so much tension in all aspects of your life, spiritually, physically, emotionally, mentally, and financially. Get in the tension. I don't want to just be a feel good all the time.
No, it's dangerous.
I want somebody to tell me, "Oh, you fucked up." Why? How? This is how. Like you're not my friend. If every conversation is a pat on my back, you ain't my friend. Because if I love you, I'm gonna tell you the truth. If I love you, I'm gonna tell you the truth. If I don't give a fuck about you, I'm gonna say if you like it, I love it.
Man, I'm the king of that.
If you like it, I love it. If I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, if I don't give a fuck, honestly, I'm out.
If I'm willing to engage with you and knowing that there's going to be tension or problems or irritations, ask Jordan. Ask Jordan. Give Jordan a mic.
Jordan, like, wait a minute, man.
Look, what's my explanation for always getting in your face about shit and having uncomfortable conversations? Why do I tell you I do it? That's all.
You say, number one, out of love, but you also say, I'm holding you accountable to what you told me you wanted to accomplish.
What did you say you wanted to accomplish? Or in a general sense?
To be successful, to be a successful entrepreneur.
So if I'm focusing on just building my shit and I don't care about, then I ain't got time to invest in you like that. It's from a space of love, and I know the limitations that we have. If they wouldn't be limitations if you saw them. And limitations are hardcore governing beliefs. That means, like, some of y'all will put everything on that. Some of y'all stand on that. Some of y'all are 10 toes down on them beliefs. Some of y'all die for that shit. Some of y'all kill for that shit. And I gotta come in there knowing that you die and kill for some shit and come in there and play with it and try to break it. Knowing that you might be mad, you may not talk to me for a couple days, all that shit, but out of love, I still do it. Because I love you. And I want to see you fucking blow the fuck up. And I watch you stuck in that space, man, I'm coming at you. Be mad at me, so what?
Yeah, I'll say the last 6 months has been like, it's been nothing but this right here. You know, sometimes it take me, you know, from certain conversations, it's taken me a few days, maybe even a week to get through some shit that he explained to me. But at the end of the day, like, the thing that holds me to, like, want to work through that is I got a pact with myself that I want to be better. So I don't have a choice but to sit with myself.
Dope.
It doesn't have to be like people that you know for a long time too. Like, it's just people that they just want to be real with you and honest. They want you to succeed. Exhibit A, Nana. I met him on Wednesday, and then 3 days later we hopped on a call, and he just, like, from the way I introduced myself on Wednesday, he analyzed me, and then Saturday he just told me, okay, that's wrong, that you're doing this wrong, shouldn't be doing that. Definitely shouldn't be doing that. You should do that instead. Should do that instead. And he ended the call with, if this call made you uncomfortable, I see it as a win. Because you're 19, you know, you got a bright future ahead of you, and you're, like, so fucking far ahead. So, like, it doesn't have to be people that you know for a long time. It just have to be people that just want to see you succeed. That's it. Period.
You know,
So.
To your point, a lot of times you're sent many messengers, but can you receive the message?
Yeah.
What I see is happening in our community is, okay, you don't okay, nobody in this room is an independent thinker. There's no such thing. We're products of our environment. So our thinking is part of our environment. The reason I got so upset with social justice when it arrived in our community because it made us more sensitive. We became more petty, more sensitive, more fragile. We started wanting to like a sign of a superficial relationship is like, oh my God, you're doing good. Look at you killing it out there in the streets. Oh my God. That was considered superficial. And then after a while, it became the way we started talking to each other. We didn't even want to say, and on the streets, okay, so in the square, I call it in the square space with like corporate America, middle class black folks with jobs, they play the superficial role. On the streets, cats start fighting for just feedback. Oh, you hating on me. Hating became, I can't tell you anything I disagree with. Also, too, we also made the messenger God. If I give you a message, don't mean you get some junk mail sometimes. Like, it just is. I can't tell you everything right because I have an outside view, but the thing is, remember I taught a class called Inside, you wasn't here, but I taught a class Inside View versus Outside View. You see the inside. You can't often see the outside. So a lot of times when I come and share, look, this is where my company, this is the 510 where it makes the money. Our strength is we're the outsiders. So we don't have the same biases. We can just say, that's a spade, dog. I know you call it a club. That's a fucking spade. They both black, but that's a fucking spade, right? But you're like, no. But you see how it kind of rounds. It could be if you at the end, because it's just this little dull on this side, motherfucker. That's a spade, all right? Don't cut it out, right? And so what I'm saying is that this happens not just in this room. It's happening. First, it was a black culture really out of control with it, but we've become a little bit more sensitive. But then also too, like pay attention to nonprofits. They don't like no feedback. If you tell a nonprofit, so we had a nonprofit that invited us out to this event a couple of years ago. So me and Court there. Now the owner of the nonprofit comes over to us and he's like, yo, what do you think about this event? And I was like, yo, it's trash, my man. He didn't say, why'd you call it trash? Like, what are you talking about? Like, what do you see? And then the conversation would have started. What he said, which we knew was really trash, though. He said, but. I said, oh, okay, cool. All right. I'm going back to my room. It was too many buts. So that means I had to fight through all those layers of things you identify as positive. So when I try to correct them, you're under attack. I'm out. And I promise you, it's not that I know everything. It's not that anybody knows everything. It's just that we're not designed as human beings to see our past by ourselves. It's just not the way our brain works. It's just not. One thing I've learned the most this year is we're herd dependent like a motherfucker. We are. We if you doing anything you in isolation, you fucking up. I don't give a fuck how smart, how many degrees, how much education, how much experience you have. If you do anything in isolation, you fuck it up because you can't see yourself. I can't see myself. I swear to God, I look like I'm 18, chiseled and buff until I get in the mirror. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, okay, I'm 40 more years on top of that. Just fucking, that shirt lied again.
So basically, your point is that feedback is very important.
It's everything.
Everything.
Yeah.
It's everything. You can't, we're human beings. Our brain is so, this is one of the last slide, but you know how I'm talking about tunneling? I've been talking about tunneling for the last few weeks, right? Tunneling, our brain, like nobody in this room is stupid. It's just, okay, here's a known fact. Your brain doesn't have access to all your information at all times. Let me say that. There's a known fact. Your brain, so you know how you say, why did Court do that? He knows better. That's not how your brain works. Your brain doesn't have access to all your information at all times. You don't believe me? Okay, take martial arts and haven't been trained in fighting and let somebody slap the shit out of you and see what you do first. Do you go into a perfect stance and do the perfect block, or do you go into a windmill? What the fuck gonna happen, right? Your brain doesn't have access to all your information at all times. Now, in hindsight, you can look back and be like, man, I should have ducked. I first should have ducked. I should have swung like this. I should have leaned into it. I would have knocked him out. Okay, but that's not how your brain works, right? So the reality is that even when you're learning all this shit you're learning, your ability to recall it is limited because it's just you. I don't give a how many degrees you got, because it's just you. What you need other people to do is say, you go, oh shit, okay, yeah, thank you for saying that, right? And sometimes you might be like, For example, Cork could come to me and be like, man, this is going to be the dopest project ever. And Cork would be like, I don't think so. How many times, okay, I don't know anybody building anything in this class. How many times have you worked on some shit, got really excited, and it failed?
Plenty of times.
All right? That's the way the shit works. So wouldn't it have been nice if somebody could have helped you calibrate your investment, your act, or even invested more? There's cases where you should have invested more. But you didn't, you was in your own head and your own past, your own scarcity, your own experiences, not realizing that's your limitations. That's it.
Yeah.
You are your greatest limitation. It's not some force. In business, there's always force against you. This is why racism doesn't make me stand at the table long enough. I'm pro-black as fuck, but racism no longer makes me go, well, let me sit at this table and hear every reason that racism is stopping me. Because when you get in business, there's constant resistance to your growth. If you figure tomorrow a way to make $1 million or $2 million, and the world sees you make $2 million, those who are stronger than you are going to come get some of that money. And that means it's going to eat up your shares. So that if you don't know how to hold those dogs off, maintain your $2 million and grow your company so you can continue to grow, because there's no such thing as staying still in business. If you're not growing, you're going backwards. So if you think there's any point in business you don't gain, and everybody's be like, we don't want none. And it ain't personal either. Because everybody's trying to extend their market because everybody's being invested, and somebody's like, yo, find new market shares. And they say, oh, here's this cat over here. He said he done found an area of the market where there's possible growth. Okay, so you had it to yourself for about a week, and then here comes Apple. Well, let me get some of that real quick. Here comes Google. Well, let me get some of that real quick. Before you know it, you're like, damn, and it's not personal. So if you don't know how to move with intention, the first time you over there taking it personal. They don't come and taking my space and disrespecting me. That's why I shouldn't share mine. No, at this point, use all your mental energy on to improve your strategy and lock in market share. That's all you can focus on. All that about being offended by them, that's what they're supposed to do. So racism says, white people don't want me to have it. Guess what? Your competition don't want you to have it. The market don't want you to have it. Your family don't want you to have it. Now, can you move amongst all that fucking tension and still achieve it?
Mm-hmm. Hey, one dope example of that is, have you ever listened to a song, a unique hit song that went platinum, crazy platinum, banger, and with its own unique style, and 2 months later, you hear a song similar to it, and the dude's dressed kind of like the person, and then a third one, and a fourth one. Next thing you know, the whole beat system is like that first song. The way the beats are laid out, the hooks now, the chorus is all focused on the same pattern. They came for this guy because of competition and like, oh, this is a new sound. And a whole market can be created from it. I was watching a cartoon with my daughter, K-pop Demon Slayer type, some shit like that. K-pop thing. And they all rapping. And my daughter think rap was invented in Korea. You see what I'm saying? Because of the layers of what's been popular. Now, hip hop is the #1 music genre in the world. And so people don't care where it came from. They want a piece of it and they're going to copy it. Same thing in business. Same thing with designs. Same thing with a Black Vines event. Same thing with your bright idea that you're it's going to happen. So instead of thinking life ain't fair, what are you going to do about it when it happens? How are you going to prepare for it? Next slide.
It's one of my favorite ones.
All right. I need, who knows what to me is? To me. What's to me? Somebody grab a mic. To me?
Is it just your opinion? It's just a guess. Is it your opinion? Like to me, this feels like the right thing to do.
Nope. Nope. Who got it?
Here.
Victim mindset. So to me, it's everything's happening to me. Yeah, I'll stop there before I go into the opposite.
Everything go to the house though. Go to the house.
No, I said go to the opposite.
Okay.
By me yet.
Yeah. To me mindset is everything is happening to me.
Oh, I hate that.
It's to me. This happened to me. It's victim mindset. No way you can leave from that space. No way you can leave from that space. And people hate being around you because you always playing the victim. This is one of the exact opposite of the one next to it. To me. So to me is the foundation of brokenness and limitations in your business and in life. Like a real wolf mindset means the next one. Who got that?
If by me is the complete opposite, then by me is how can I get, so how do I create, or how do I get myself out of the situation, or how to stop playing the victim card, or how can I find a way to conquer that instead of just victimizing myself? Or it happened to me. Okay, it happened to me. How can I get above it by me?
Who can clean that up for him?
I would just say the sentence, this happened by me. Like, it's being done by me. Like, I'm the creator of it. So you said it right on point. To create opportunities, to create next steps, to create results. This happened by me.
Before he says it, do you already get that? I mean, like let's take a second, because I think Court really wants to make sure you guys get this. By me, like, how far do you take that? When do you not say by me?
When do you not say by me? That's a good ass question.
Yeah. When do you say not?
When do you not say by me? That's a good ass question.
Is there a situation like, I didn't do that? That wasn't by me.
Grab the mic. Come on, man.
This is important. Yeah, this is important.
It doesn't matter how you got there, because the result of your next step is by you. Everything that you do at that point on, regardless of what it is, because life is going to happen. Things happen. Everything is a reaction at that point. The reaction into me is you're blaming. You're not taking any responsibility for it. The by me is you're literally taking responsibility for everything from that point going forward. And so everything is by you, because you are the only you, regardless of whatever the circumstances are around you. You're your only you. So,
but and let me say this real quick, and you're right. I'm not disagreeing with anything, but I want us to go almost like another layer lower than that. Let's say you just finished a discussion, you're frustrated, you're irritated, or you won, or you're lost, or you whatever. Are you just in a conversation right now? Can you still hold the by me down, or is it to me? So, for example, if you said you met with a white guy and you felt he was racist, is that by me or to me for you?
If I met with a white guy and I thought he was racist,
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the day, I own how I respond to it, right? So he could be whatever he wants. I own how I interpret it. And that's where the framing can come in. That's where you can flip this. And I also want to say, like, it's unrealistic to think that to me never happens. We get in to me situations all the time. It's how you kind of step yourself out of that moment to create a responsible reaction to it. So how am I going to take this thing that I'm almost victimizing myself in and placing myself as the position of power, basically having the true agency to decide where you're going to go, and knowing that shit happens. Like, that's just what it is. If it didn't, I think about, when I said that, I thought about the tree on your car. Mm-hmm. Like, shit happens. Mm-hmm. Unexpected, not your fault, but it's your responsibility. Mm-hmm. Because you have to take the next step on.
Can I?
Go ahead.
It makes me think about, like, the whole conversation of, like, fixed and growth, or, like, toxic perfectionism, and not the fact that it's good or bad, right or wrong, but more so raising the conversation to, let's not try to be perfect. Let's not act like our best sides that we present when we're being analytical are the sides that respond to us. So I take it as a challenge as to, What do I need to do to challenge myself to raise my baseline? What are my heuristics? Not what would I do when I'm calm, cool, and collected and slept and hormonally balanced, because today I'm not. But what would I do if I was pissed off? Is my baseline habits going to be from a space of to me or by me? And if my average is to me, then I'm looking at that not as a judgment call, but as a space to say, okay, where are the opportunities that I can work on that so I can get closer to by me, and then past that, not the good, bad, right, or wrong.
So what you said was, well, highlight it, but change frustration to anger to, let's use the word uncertainty.
Mm-hmm.
When the brain faces a moment of uncertainty, can look ugly, angry, frustrated, mad, fear. All those can be the emotional response to it.
Mm-hmm.
But in the face of uncertainty, do we really say by me? Mm-hmm. And I think by me, why I think Court bringing this up is so much fire. Like when the first day he brought it up, he brought it back. I thought, damn, I think it's a window of growth, mm-hmm. right? Like I'm talking about if you're doing your personal work on yourself. I think going back to what Fern just said, to me is a lot of our natural reactions. Mm-hmm. Does anybody disagree with me? Like a lot of times your natural brain is like, this is happening to me. Where our growth comes in is when we could take that to me moment and bend that bar to a by me motion, like literally reframe this is a reframe, by the way. This is going back to reframing. I'm reframing a to me moment to a by me moment. And I'm actually going from being a victim to the winner, or in dominance, or driving the direction of the outcome. Where to me, which is so much the norm, it's more the norm than I think I think in this class, we're not giving it its due respect, right? But to me, it's such a norm. And it's so dominant. But the end result of it is that you don't have control of your destination, right? By me, is forcing you to have this deeper conversation with saying, okay, I feel like I'm being victimized, but what play do I have? What opportunity does it exist for me? What moves can I actually make where this negative turned into a positive? You remember the old Madonna experience? How Madonna would come out with this
like crazy
shit would happen to her, and somehow she'll always flip it to like a win. And you're like, this woman just can walk through like fire and brimstones and still look like pure gold. Because she was taking to me's to by me's all the time, right? And the more you could take every touch point of things that are happening, and even I might be going too meta for you. When you can disconnect from yourself and see the to me by me manifestation. So you see yourself in a situation, you step back and going, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Is it possible for you for a second to think at home too? Is it possible for you to flip a switch within yourself one day and say, everything that happens, I created it. Everything that happens in my life is by me. Is it possible for you to do? Whether it's true or not, whether it did or not, doesn't matter. Is it possible for you to adopt that mindset as a default? I created this. This is my mess. This is my good. Like, I hear a lot of people talk about their significant others that ain't shit, right? Let's start there. My baby daddy ain't shit. My baby mama be causing all kind of drama and shit. That's to me. By me is, you chose her, motherfucker. You picked him. Y'all didn't just bump into each other at a grocery store and you got pregnant. You let him come to your house. Y'all did that. You created that. I hate my job. You interviewed for that job. You went back for the second. You show up to work every day. It's creation by you. I have a medical condition. Most of the times that medical condition is created by your habits. You created that medical condition. I ain't got no friends because you an asshole. You created that personality within yourself. But there's some things, you got struck by lightning. Well, explain that thing, Courtney. Lightning wasn't my fault.
Randomness.
Man, stop it. Yeah, like, and you know what? You was standing in the wrong motherfucking spot.
Just randomness.
It was raining, and you had a umbrella on with a metal stand. Like, find a way to take responsibility for it, just in practice, even if it's not. Find a way, because it's just a way for you to continue to practice in those ways. Yeah, there's random stuff that happens, of course, but if you adopt the mindset, then that's going to be way more healthy for you than trying to find ways for it to not be your fault. A lot of the improvements we made from the thing that hit our ship came from us sitting there thinking, well, what could have we done? Well, what could I have done? Oh, it was that time that I was wanting to do that, but I didn't because I just forgot because it wasn't that serious. What if I would have did it? Oh, yeah, would have shaved off some of the impact. What else? Oh, it could have, like, just adopting the mindset, whether it's your fault or not. But to me, you're a victim. There's a creators and there's a created. The creators take responsibility for everything. The created hope and wish and pray they get created in the way that they want to, that they like. Take ownership. True leaders take ownership. That's really what I be like, because Jordan has such crazy potential to be an amazing savage as an entrepreneur. The discipline and the diligence. What I'm on him about, I don't give a fuck. It's your fault. Take responsibility. But it wasn't. It's your fault. It's leadership training. It's your responsibility. Find where your responsibility is. And that way, you practice that, then you're always looking for solutions, looking for ways to improve, finding ways and lanes to get better. That's really it in a nutshell. But to me and by me is huge, and that's the to me part is what we were talking about earlier, where our people are stuck. Because it was so, ooh, ouch, shit hurts, so sensitive. I don't want to talk about it no more. Nope, don't talk to me no more. Nuh-uh. It always comes around to respect and disrespect, and how you talking to me and how you not. Like we don't want to listen to if the message doesn't encompass the messenger in a way that I like, I don't want to hear that shit. And us as black people, we got to get over it. We're in last place. Do we know why we're in last place? Why? Why are we in last place?
Defensive energy.
Why do Africans walk past you and be like,
sorry,
and bro look just like one of my cousins or my family members? Why do Africans, why? What's the difference? The genetic code is damn near real. What's the difference? Is our defensiveness got us fucked up. It got us stuck. And it's because we stuck into me. By me is a switch. By me is a minute you become a parent. You could have been to me your whole life, and all of a sudden now you're your mother or father. Now you're like, oh shit, I'm responsible for this thing. I can't be like, man, you hungry? What the fuck you hungry for? Damn, you gotta eat again. Do you shit in your pants again? Damn. Like, it's all your responsibility. When you look at life like that baby, then you know, well, it's on you.
Let me. I'm gonna say the exact same thing, but I'm gonna take one of his examples so I can show you the benefit of two. So a lot of you, I can see how some of you guys can take the by me as a added responsibility, a moral beat up, I should be like this. Let's go back to the example you said of the woman and the guy. complaining about each other. If you don't see you chose that person, then you won't see the flaws in the kind of person the kind of distortions you have and attractions you have. Let's say you say, I chose this guy with Timberlands, and I chose this dude who wasn't. You found certain characteristics that you found exciting about him, but you never really analyzed what that meant, right? So if you're to me and you blame that person, guess what you're gonna do again? You'll find another one, to the point that now you're 40 years of age, no kids or no relationship, because you kept making bad choices, because you never took time to say, how did I get myself in this? Which allows you to make changes in your choice system, changes in all your strategy moving forward, which means you're able to change your reality moving forward. Simply saying, this is your access to strategy. The way you get to strategy is things are going to happen to you because you're making mistakes all the time because you don't have feedback. When it goes wrong, if you miss the opportunity to say it's by me, you miss the lesson too, which means you change your future. So you're not taking that ownership just to beat up on yourself like, everything's by me and I don't give a shit. You're saying, what can I learn from that? What can I learn from that? Because I take full ownership. Where do I have control? Because when this happens again, you don't get to say, if you get to the point like, it's like shit always happened to me. It's because that person's a to me person that's not taking life experiences. They're not taking ownership over life experiences. Once you start saying everything that happens is by me, everything becomes a strategy lesson for you. So now you're 30, 40 years of age, or you're 10 years or 20 years in business, and people are like, how are you seeing all these fucking moves? Because that's a journey of by me. But if you had a journey of to me, you could say a lot of beautiful shit, but you can't fight yourself out of a paper bag. Like literally, I know a lot of intelligent people who can't fight themselves out of a paper bag. They sound good when things are up, but when things crash, they sound as immature as a teenager. Now let me show you another by me example. I'm sitting talking to my son. So my son, the way I work with him is I don't micromanage him, because that will bitch him up more than he already is. So what I do with my son, I do check-ins. And when I do check-ins with him, I want to say, where you at in your evolution, right? So I've been watching, because most of our family is in Baltimore, Maryland. My wife went with my daughter. They went to Baltimore, Maryland, so just me and him at the house. So I'm watching his eating patterns, eating like shit. I've noticed he ain't took no shower in 2 days. Right? I'm watching him. 19-year-old, typical fuck up. So I said, what's going on with you? He says, well, I'm feeling kind of depressed. I said, easy word to grab. I'm not sure if you're feeling depressed. He said, well, I don't feel like I have a purpose. I said, oh, okay. You control all that, right? He said, what do you mean? I said, see, let me show you evolution. Let me give you a linear evolution. When's the last time you told your mother, hey, let me wash that car for you? When you had money, did you ever tell your mother, hey, mom, let me buy you another stove? I said, because part of being a man is how you show up to the world. I can't give you the respect if you ain't asking for it. That's number one. Number two, now, you notice nobody really fucks with you financially, right? Because you don't really fuck with yourself. See, the way you make everybody like you is you like yourself first. And as you show the self-investment, you attract people. Otherwise, you're trying to get picked as opposed to attracting somebody to be part of your team. That's by me. I'm showing you all how his lack of self-investment is giving him poor quality friends. His lack of self-investment means that, guess what? So if you had patterns and rituals and I saw that you cared about something and you was working on something, I saw structure, it's easy for me to refer you to a job or even hire you myself. But if I don't see no structure in you, nobody's willing to put their reputation online for you because you don't show any value around self. You see how if you just start off with how am I showing for myself, you don't realize by you investing in yourself and taking and growing yourself, how many things you're cutting off that seems like the world is not even seeing me, no one's giving me no opportunity, no one's helping me out. Because guess what? You don't see how the little shit you do around the house is the seed of other shit that's going to happen in your life. So if you got up every morning and you took showers, you was exercising, you was eating, you was helping your mama out, we probably would have bought you a car right now. Yeah, you have a car right now. If you was doing all those things, we probably would have used all of our connect. I said, between me and your mother, we hella wealthy. We would have turned around and said, hey, put my son on. Or I could have fucking hired you, to be honest with you. But you don't fuck with me like that. You run after your friends instead of taking care of your responsibilities. You run after your friends to take care of yourself. So guess what? I'm like, well, let your friends buy you a motherfucking car. Let your friends refer you for a job. But guess what? They can't, huh? They can't because they're really low, huh? Right? So you see how you're doing, I call it rationing against the grain. Rationing against the grain is you think you'd go in the right direction, using all your thinking power to go the wrong direction. So I said, here's the thing. Invest in yourself, pull motherfuckers. Then all of a sudden, great people want to be cool with you. I said, he's hella cold-blooded on music. The boy ear, he can hear shit in music that I'm telling you nobody in this room can hear. I said, Pharrell wouldn't even talk to you right now in your current condition because he can see you coming. And he said, as soon as you walk in the room, you look raggedy, you look like you're going to be full of envy, you look like you're going to be a fucking headache. I ain't fucking with you. But if you was investing in yourself and moving a certain kind of way, he may see you one day, it's like, who's that kid? That's the difference. That's the difference. So by me is a gateway of how am I fucking up my own journey? What lessons what lessons can I learn from every fucking touch point of life? But to me, it's almost hitting the skip button on situations that you're experiencing, going, I don't want to learn from that. I want to learn from that. I want to learn from that. I want to learn from that. And then one day it goes, no, how can I learn strategy? Start saying everything that happens in my life, I had control over it. And that's where the strategy is being manifested.
Hey, I got a question for the audience. This will help us understand. So you guys heard some of the basic stuff that they talk about on the internet about men talking about what do you bring to the table? You know about that, right? You heard about that? What do you bring to the table to women? Is that a to me statement or a by me statement?
The question?
Jordan.
You said asking somebody what do they bring to the table?
That statement that's brewing around over the internet between men and women, talking about what do they bring. When men ask women, what do you bring to the table?
I think it's a to me mentality because you're showing up with this expectation that somebody's going to give you something, as opposed to curating an environment where somebody is willingly looking to bring you something because of how you show up.
Okay, good. What about on the opposite side? When women say there is no good men out there, and they have these specific requirements of what they want in a man. You see that going around on the internet, don't you?
Yes.
Is that to me or by me? What is that?
That is to me
Why?
as well.
How?
Because depending upon where you grew up, you got groomed into false roles in relationships for men and women, and you were taught that simply being female was enough and that you were supposed to be in some form or fashion kept or taken care of without self-investment. And the reason why it's to me is because you're expecting for your counterpart to answer all your questions and wishes and desires without bringing anything of equal or added value to the table. And the problem is the expectation of being taken care of, or the expectation of somebody providing for you without creating the opportunity or creating the audience or creating the rhythm that would attract that type of person. The reason why you're not attracting that type of person is because you are not at that caliber to attract that audience.
So that's some of the most popular shit on the internet right now, right? You see why we don't engage in that bullshit? Because the mentality is not even, the mentality isn't even on the same vibration as it. We don't think about, because how would you solve that? If you had a by me mentality, how would you solve the first situation? If you were a by me mentality.
What do you bring?
Jordan answered a little bit. Jordan answered a little bit, but if you were a by me person, how would you solve that first equation?
That's the man version.
The man version. What do you bring to the table? What do you bring to the table? Referring to women. Go ahead.
The way you show up would attract that type of person that you're looking for.
The way you show up, that's by me. So that means if you gone out on 3 dates and all 3 dates was trash, Women ain't shit the thing to say?
No.
No, you ain't shit. That's the truth.
No, ain't no such thing as
The way you showed up ain't shit. The way you presented yourself ain't shit. And there ain't nothing wrong with that if you are willing to grow and be different and change. It's how you show up to the situation. I created this situation. I created it. What about the opposite side? How would that work? If a woman was by me, had a by me mentality.
I would say looking at patterns of self-investment. Like, what am I doing in order to attract a higher caliber person?
That's by me. Then conversation over. Nothing popular. The internet would die down. We move on to something else. That's why we don't engage in that kind of bullshit. Because a by me mentality, it's quick to kill all of that. If I'm not getting what I want, then it's on me. I gotta show up different. I gotta grow. I gotta become better. I have to add value in a way that the people I want sees the value. And that's it. And if I'm not getting that, I don't complain about what I'm not getting. I just reinvest in myself and show more value, add more value to myself. That's it. Because it's all you always have the control. Fuck, man. Like, last thing, because this shit is hella important to me. My son was 5'5" as a fucking sophomore, and he wanted to be a basketball star. That's a tough one, right? So no matter, he could hoop, but guess what? Coaches don't want that shit because it's a liability on defense, defensive liability. So I say, don't worry about it. We just keep getting better. We can't control what the coaches say. We just gonna keep getting better. And he couldn't see it as a sophomore. It fucked with him. But guess what? 6 o'clock in the morning, we wake your ass up. We're gonna run, we're gonna work out, and we're gonna practice. Then you're gonna go to school. We're gonna run, we're gonna work out, we're gonna practice. He was hoping I didn't fall asleep. I'll be waiting at the bottom of the stairs like, come on. Come on. For years we did that. Junior year comes, because I'm like, them Smith jeans is going to kick in soon. I know you're going to get to the 6. Junior year come, he 5'8", 5'7". Don't matter. We going to practice. We going to work. 6 a.m., we work busting our ass. We in the gym. Working out. Then he goes to school. Then he goes to practice. Then we go work out some more. Junior year comes, he on varsity. Guess what he doing? He killing they ass. He killing they ass. Why? Because all the workup, I can't control with them. I can't control what people feel, what they think. We control what we can do. And eventually we gonna bust enough motherfuckers ass where you gonna get where at least as far as you can go. So then senior year comes, same routine, same system. He take his team to state. And he 5'8", 5'9" as a senior. He take his team to state championship. That's the best team in California playing against the best team in California. So yeah, he got his college looks from that. But it started from way back of, man, it's not fair. They hating on me. They hating on me. Yeah, they hating on you. So what? What can we control? It's going to be a long road, but let's control it. And it's the same thing with y'all. The to me is, you got disadvantages. Yeah, you black. Yeah, you from the hood. Yeah, you got trauma. Yeah, you this. Yeah, you that. So fucking what? What can we control? And you'll find that it's enough that you can control to get to where you want to go. It may not be pretty like you want it, but it's there.
Real quick, I'm going to add one more story. Staying in conversation with my son. I said, let me show you the difference between a kid and an adult. I said, first of all, it's important that you take lead if you want to be an adult. He said, what do you mean? I said, you don't wait for people to ask you to do stuff. You just find things you can do to stay in the lead. I said, my job is not to pace myself with your mother, because that doesn't give me the manhood I want. My job is not to be behind your mother, because that means your mother starts to complain about me in ways that I'm not comfortable hearing myself complain about. My job is to outpace your mother. So I want to get in. When she says, I think I want this, I'm already there. I want this. All right, took care of that shit. That's how my manhood gets respected in this household. I don't get to be the man in this household if I'm waiting for somebody to give me permission to be me, or asking, what do you want? What do you need me to do? How do you need me to show up? I want you guys to hear this. I said, no offense, that's my stepson. I said, your real father, he's still a kid. Because he's complaining about how the world's victimizing him and how, he don't get to do this and this. But he doesn't take those self-initiated steps to get in front of the world to force the world to respect him as a man. Same thing I said, and guess what? So it's easy for you to say here that I said I take lead in my house. No, if you want to be a healthy relationship, everybody has to take lead. Meaning get in front of your partner. If you just covering your bills, doing what you're supposed to do, showing, I do everything you ask me, you about as meh as they come. But if you're at the point where a person's like, shit, man, you make this feel like it's just too easy because you in lead. That is if you want to tell you what is a good recipe for a healthy relationship, it's two people who's trying to take lead. Not lead like follow me because I run shit. I'm talking about I'm so far in front of what's next or where we want to go next and the kids and the family and the da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. I'm thinking about what's next. I'm not sitting there going, I just want shit to be cool. I just want to cope. I'm conquering my own fucking family. Which is not like I'm conquering, like I told my daughter the other day, I was like, daughter, I need you to start breaking your pattern. She's only 6. I said, so look, this is what we're going to do. One day a week, because you don't like to break your patterns. The way you dress, you just want to dress the same way until the clothes go old. You want to eat the same foods till the foods get old. You just don't want to change shit. I said, so this is what we're going to do. Once a week, daddy's going to dress you. Now, if it goes bad, you can tell me. It's over. She goes, why would I do that? I said, well, maybe you might be embarrassed. She goes, nah, we can try again. I was like, why does my daughter try to move like, why is she coming at me like me? But the point is it's like, I just came out there, I just sat there and going, I don't like this pattern. And I attack it. I don't sit there and go, hope time passes and things just be better. I'm literally going, how do I take, when I saw my wife moving away, I'm like, yo, she's getting overweight. She ain't taking her hand on her business. And I ain't gonna keep tapping on her shoulder like, hey, you know me, I don't do this weight shit. Hey. That don't translate. Hey, Giselle, going to track every Sunday. I want the family to come with me. It's good? All right, cool. Then didn't say nothing. Slowly I heard her say, oh, yeah, I've been neglecting myself. I need to invest in myself. Right? And you see this change happen because it ain't about micromanaging people. It's like, I want to lead by example. And like, I'm 58 and I work my ass off. But I'm also signaling to my 6-year-old. I'm signaling to that's my goddaughter over there. I'm signaling to her. She's really my daughter, but I'm gonna say goddaughter because she does have a father. But if I had powers, anyway. Point is this, and so, but I signal to all of them, yo, this is how we getting down. This is how we move. So in the end, I came home the other day. My daughter was in front of the TV doing a full workout session with the TV, doing push-ups, jumping side steps, all kind. I said, what the fuck is happening? But it's because in her brain, that's what we do. But guess how I get there? Not by saying, y'all need to work out. Now I'm gonna drink this beer. When I get through, y'all motherfuckers better be at the gym, right? No, I don't do that. Right? I literally get up and go, hey, I'm going to the gym every day. Y'all gonna still be here when I get back, right? I'm going to the gym every day. I'm going to the gym every day. And also be like, maybe we should be going to the gym. Yeah, that's cool. Y'all want to work out with me? Anybody want to come with me? Not the y'all need to, y'all should, because then that doesn't, it's a backfire effect. So I'm always trying to outpace my family to move my family forward. I'm trying to lead by example. I'm trying to get a situation where folks are not looking at me going, this motherfucker. So, next slide. All right. Ooh. The road to hell is paved with good intentions. So I called my big brother, Pastor Chris. He's not older than me, but I call him big brother because he's doing big things. And I told him, give me some scriptures. And and so he said, he gave me the first one. He said, The heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Who can know it? Another scripture he gave me was Proverbs 4:23. Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. So I'm gonna go somewhere with this. I mentioned earlier in class that everybody in this class have been victimized by their own brain, right? Everybody, like everybody's brain lies to itself. My brain, there's no human being escaping that, right? So when you're engaging the public, you can't take engagements and attacks for what they are. Let me say this again, so you can understand where I'm going with this. Let's say I'm engaging in public to do business with people, and they promise me, hey, I want to do this with you. I want to collaborate with you in this way. I want to partner with you like this. I want to do these certain things in collaboration or buy your products or whatever. Do you realize the person's talking to you is not telling you the truth, but they don't know they're not telling you the truth? And guess whose responsibility is to see that that person's not telling you the truth? Not them. They're under the hypnosis of their brain. They might say, I'm the best at making phones. If we collaborate, we should do phones. They're not lying to you. They don't know their brain is lying to them. See, if everybody's lying, if I'm lying to myself, how can I be telling you the truth?
Right.
So in business, you got to be able to stop the moment of excitement. This is where optimism will fuck you up. Because let's say Fern comes in like, yo, now I'm doing great shit over here. And let's say Kaj is like, this is my motherfucking girl, Nana. You need to listen to her. See the energy building up? And say I'm optimistic. And I want this energy to keep going. So I'll be like, yo, okay, this is what we could do. You see what's happening now? So now we're playing like tennis, but we're playing 3-part tennis. And I'm serving it back, you serve. So we're going back and forth because we're excited, right? But what I don't realize as I'm talking to you guys really mean what you're saying. You guys really want to do good business. You guys mean the best. You guys gave me data, but you guys are lying to yourself. And guess what? Optimistic people can never see it. And you know how much money we lose from business deals? From I'm the best. I know what I'm talking about. I did this before. I've had 3 other successes. I just had a win last week. I just made $250,000. Oh, what did you do to make $250,000? Well, I talked to him and then I showed him this idea. That's nothing. You got to be able to see people's self-lies in business, your employees' self-lies in business, your customers' self-lies in business to do business. Because everybody's lying to themselves, unconscious to themselves. And if you're taking everybody at point blank what they say to you, you are the dumbest business in the world because you're responding to the part of themselves that's not true. Let's say Shakina came to me. Shakina became a good trainer in the last 3 or 4 years. I wouldn't give her no room to talk to me about training before then. Her press secretary was crazy, but everybody loved her. But it's just crazy. You know why? Because her brain was saying, but I was seeing distortion in her thinking. She doesn't know. Most of you guys would never see my inference because my inference comes from my practice. So I can see things that you might think, how the fuck you see that? Now, if I told you how to see it, it's going to be a long-ass discussion. You'd be like, fuck, that's crazy. But I'm hearing you, and I'm hearing that you don't know what you don't know. But you think, when your brain is in that space of lying to itself, it skips stages. It'll feel some assumptions. It'll backfill some of the assumptions. It will exaggerate some of the data. It will look at results that were accidental as you led the process. It will take compliments and then mix it all into a bowl and say, I have experience. It's you as the business that to say, thank you for sharing. That's not what I'm looking for. You know who does that the best? Investors. Investors you can tell me a story right now that I'm hella excited. I believe like, oh my God, your company's gonna blow the fuck up. Tell Shakina, we like, oh my God, that's pretty tight. Talk to investors, be like, I have no interest in this. You're like, what the fuck? Because he saw nothing but this is not scalable. This has these limitations. This is your distortions. I get people, okay, let's say you're talking to me about business right now, right? Y'all ain't seen my other side. Touch my money. Mm-hmm. Y'all want to see me read you in ways you didn't even know I could see? Come for my money. You'll be like, oh, fuck. I'm playing, like this is a whole different game. I'm going to have to tell you what I see because now you're talking about my money. Now, if you talk about my money, I might, ruffle your feathers a little bit. I might, nudge you like, God damn, Nana, shit. Come for my money and I'm going to call it for what it is. Because guess what? I don't have time to play. There is such a danger in too many bad investments. You can starve out the best investments. And so in a community where people don't feel like they're good enough and they're often selling you
snake oil,
their own dreams of who they are, you can't even get mad at them because they weren't lying to you. That's not, because at the end of the day, it's important to see people's intent. People don't wake up in the morning like, I'm going to hurt you and steal from you, rob you, let you down, underperform, and bring poor quality. It's the story they've been telling themselves to feel good about themselves. They now already believe, I reached this goal. So now I sign a contract with you. Like, since you reached this goal, I'm assuming you can carry that responsibility because business is based upon trust. Here you go, Fern, handle that responsibility. And then when you fail, you got to have this long conversation about, I didn't know, my bad. I got to hear all that. I got to hear that so sorry ass, right? But the reality was, I should have saw that shit. I need to learn to see. So here's the thing that sounds really fucked up. So I can be brought into a room and people can be really excited and I'm the one that can pop the bubble every time. And they be like, I fucking can't stand Nana. Because there was nothing here, dog. Don't bring me in the fucking room and waste my time. Ain't nothing here. Because what you'll find is that, okay, in business, there's some of these false hopes. Everybody's trying to sell you false hopes, false hopes, false hopes, false hopes. Do you know how exciting these meetings? And it's almost like there's a whole bunch of planning around almost enough, but never get there. There's so many almost enough strategies, almost enough gatherings, almost enough business meetings, almost enough investments, almost enough work, right? At some point, you got to be able to call those almost enough bullshits. And you can smell them. You can sense them once you learn to turn down optimism. And don't get mad at people. Like, if I read you, I'm not mad at you. If you ever hear me say this, like, I'm not mad at you. Because I'm used to, this is what I deal with all the fucking time. Like, when me and Mashama first got together, he's like, dude, how do you keep avoiding all these fucking, like, manipulating people? Like, we'll find out there was manipulators down the road, right? But when they came in, they were selling a hell of a game. We're doing this, I'm doing this. And they even had shit to back it up and made it look really, really good. Because as I was listening to him, I was like, okay, there's some flaws in your thinking. I can even read a hype cycle. Because I can know, look, I know what it takes. I had a friend of mine say, look, Nana, when my company's worth $1 million, I was running like this and it was working. When I went to 30 million, because I got that kind of investment, I don't know how to run a $30 million company. So I started fucking up everything, right? So now somebody told me, yeah, the other day, man, they just invested 50 million, so I'm doing big things. You're a motherfucking lie. It's not even a thing. You don't go from 0 to 50 million and know what the fuck you're doing. You don't. You fucking don't. But if you don't know that and you're on the outside and you're just trying to be positive and be encouraging because you want to see black people do good for themselves, I'm going to say, I'm out. You can keep talking to this motherfucker if you want, but there's no value here for me. But don't you want to work with him? No, why would I want to? This is a waste of my time. This is taking my minimum amount of resources I have to land my next fish, and I'm fishing in the wrong fucking pond.
Just real quick, $500,000 to $1 million is crazy in terms of what you have to adjust. $1 million to $2 million is crazy in terms of who you have to change into in order to manage. $2 million to $3 million, you have to morph again. And it's uncomfortable and it's painful to scale. So, like, anybody who talking that rah-rah shit, it's the first thing you got to be like, yeah, all right, stop that. Because your conversation don't even reflect the scaling that you're talking about.
Good is not good. When it comes to human beings, it's a flaw of our human nature to lie to ourselves. That means it's a flaw that people are going to lie to you. Your employees are going to lie to you. Hey, I could take care of that. You're going to hire somebody, and they really mean what the fuck they say. Yeah. They're not sitting in front of you being deceitful, or dishonest. The heart. Going back to that first scripture when he said, the heart is he said what's the scripture? He said
Guard the heart.
the heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Who can know it? I mean, the people said, you don't even know they're being deceitful. They don't know they're being deceitful. They really, because their heart is saying, I want the best. I want to do this job for you. I want to be the best. I want you to hire me, give me an opportunity. I want us to do business together. I want to be your top employee. I want to. And you got to be able to say, yeah, but you're not there yet.
My bad. I lied.
And that's what ends up happening is then when they fuck up, I got to sit through this long ass personalized to me dialogue. You know, I grew up in East Oakland and I never had a chance like this, and I really thought I could, and I made a mistake, and I'm sorry I lost $20,000 for you. It's happened. It's happened to him. It's happened to me. It's like you got to be able to call people and say, hey, listen,
Elizabeth.
but you got to be able to see people for who. The last loss I took was a win for me, but I framed it to that person as a loss. But when I did the calculation, I won $200,000. Like literally, it was that much of a win. They lost me 50, I won 200, but I made it seem like they lost me a lot. But they actually gave me, and it was up to me to exploit the opportunity. That's a more complex strategy. But I started positioning for the break and the loss and minimizing the loss when I started reading the personality, because as a person would just talk to me and just chill, I started seeing flaws in their thinking. I started saying, oh shit, this is fragile as fuck. Even though to the outside world, it was up here. The numbers was there, the performance was there, the talk was there, the look was there, but the foundation was fragile as fuck. It's like buying real estate, right? You can buy real estate and it can look beautiful from the outside, but those who are into buying real estate be like, termite damage is really fucked up. Foundation's on brick. And before you know, you be like, yo, this is a bad buy. But to the outside person driving by, they be like, yo, you didn't buy that? And then you go by the house like, this happened a lot. I used to see this when I was in the real estate world. That house has been on the market for 5-6 years. Because people who are trained can see the trash. In business, that's how people are like that real estate. They're going to look really good to you. And you're going to fit all the positive, oh my God, black people doing big things story, until you realize they're deceiving themselves, which means they're lying to you by default, not because it's about you, it's about the relationship they have with themselves. Y'all get that shit? It's not about you. It's going back to that tension comment he made earlier. People are attacking you unpronounced to themselves. They don't even know they're attacking you. They think they're supporting you. They think they just take care of themselves, but they're undermining you. A lot of people who are going to come for your money are not going to be people who just don't like you. It's going to be people who love you, but they're lying to themselves and they're deceiving you. Oh, I'm good with customer service. And you sit there and watch them like, oh my God, you're trash. You think, wait, why do you think he was good at customer service? Well, when I worked at McDonald's when I was 17, this one honestly, when you finally get the press secretary to shut the fuck up and their brain finally release the true information, well, I won an award for like one weekend. I was the best at service. Oh my God. Really? At my school, I sold the most products ever. So that's how I figured I had the best product. Really? I know a guy, use anecdotal solution. I know this one guy who said, my mama said, my friend said, my cousin said, okay, you name 10 people and you got a product that needs to survive by selling thousands. Explain to me how this matters. All this is that level of honesty. Once you own it, you don't look good when you have to call it. And many of us won't even call it, even though we see it. So you'll see it, but you're like, I don't want to hurt this person's feelings. I don't want to be attacked. I don't want this to be emotional. I don't want this to be angry. You got to get to the point where you can be like, I'm sorry, fuck your feelings. Like I had to do certain things to sabotage, because my brain sometimes like, okay, don't say it. And I started saying, no, you know you're the king of fuck your feelings. I had to build that brand in myself to say, yo, if I hear what you just said, that's trash, dog. Why? Now we can have a conversation about it, but what I'm not gonna do is take that hot ass rich sales pitch you just threw at me and then validate you. Knowing that if I put money in that shit, it's a loss. Like there's rare. Like I hear about good idea. Like okay. There's about 3 or 4 businesses I know of that if they said let's invest because they built that kind of structure, I would take it as serious. There's about 100 businesses I know right now I wouldn't give them a fucking penny, but I won't tell them. They ain't asked me, so what the fuck I'm gonna get you? I wouldn't give you shit. like they ain't the most fucked up thing in the world. But if they cross that line and says, nah, I won't talk to you about money. Do you really? This whole time I'm like, yo, stay in there, stay focused. Because what I'm saying to myself is that the way life works is there's no straight shots to what you want to do. You have to start off here, fall down, climb over here, and you may end up going that way. And that's where your business is at. But you meant to go this way when you first started. So when you first meet me, my job is to keep your momentum going so you can fall. All right? And then keep your momentum going so you can get the fuck back up and fall over here. And keep the momentum going, and then finally you're on your way, right? Intelligence doesn't work here. If I say, hey, you're stupid. This shit you saying right now, you hallucinating. This shit ain't no motherfucking money. Waste your motherfucking time. It's dangerous here. So I have to be like, keep it going. But if you turn around and be like, hey, I'm going this way now. So Nana, what's up with that 10 G's you told me you just made last week? Can I get like 4 or 5 of that real quick? Nah, man. What you mean? No, you don't believe in me? Now, all of a sudden I open my chest up and the line comes out. It's like, okay, it's time to talk to you about business now. Let's get into some real numbers. Now, if you don't do no real numbers, hey, I'm about as nice and fluffy as fucking Disney shows. But once you get to real numbers, like y'all ain't seen me. Like nobody in this class ever dealt with me like that. But once you cross my numbers, I think Shakina come close to seeing that side of me. But well, Scott, you kind of seen some of it, yeah. But it's like if you don't know me in that space, you won't see me just turn into a different animal because at the end of the day, the game we playing, when he talks about this tension, y'all don't really see like this ain't me in business. In business, I'm a nice person. But when we get to the negotiation table, I'm playing to win. I'm trying to help you win too. I'm not like cut you off and I'm not like rob Peter Pan. I'm not a hustler. Right? I want us both to win. But if I sense you don't sense that, I'm going to move in a way you've never seen before. And I'm going to come in like this class only gives you a slight sample of how good my negotiation skills are. Because when I'm trying to win, I'm a different. One of our partners he grew up with me, became one of his closest partners. He said, I'm gonna call Nana and talk to him about some money. This cat told him, don't call Nana about no fucking money. I'm gonna warn you. And he said, nah, I'm gonna call him anyway. I crushed him so bad, he's like, I told that motherfucker not to call you. Because you don't call me about money unless you really own your shit. When you're not on your shit, I practice this shit so I can get ready for battle. And in battle, I can joust and punch with you. And, oh my God, look at you. You punch so hard. Oh my God. If that bell go off, I'm gonna knock you the fuck out. But if that bell ain't off, oh my God, look at you. You're getting faster. Look at your endurance. Look at that footwork. And when we fight, I'm gonna see all your flaws and knock you the fuck out. Mm-hmm. And I can't, I know I sound like I'm being silly, but Pastor Chris called me today and he had something where he was walking to a business deal and he's like, yo, he had to say, Pastor Chris is the nicest man in your world. Cross his money. You'd be like, oh my God, this dude is a assassin when it comes to business. It's all of us are like that. Mashama is the most quiet. Mashama walks around like namaste. He was just like namaste, namaste. He walks around in little flat feet shoes, like hella earthly and shit. Cross his money, you like that's the wolf that worked Wall Street. This motherfucker do not play when it comes to numbers. He'll cut shit off. He can give a flying fuck about your emotions because he realized it's not that he doesn't love. He loves people more than anybody I know, especially black people. Mashama loves black people more than anybody will ever know. But which comes from his mom. His mom that's our mom. By the way, that's my mom. But anyway, I stole his mom. Mm. But he also understands that when people walk into the room, it's not them walking into the room coming for him. It's their distortion of walking into the room trying to manipulate him because it's manipulating them. And he's protecting against that. He's not coming for you. He's not trying to attack you. It's never personal for me. If it's personal, then I'm saying you have full control of your brain. that you're not victim of distortions, biases, or press secretary. That's making it personal. I can't make it personal because that's not who the fuck you are. You're victimized by many distortions. So it's just my job not to let your distortion bleed. I told you a story about my auntie who said, "Oh, nephew, can I borrow 14 grand because I want to get another car?" 14 grand is nothing, but I was like, "No, auntie, it's not a bad idea." I said, first of all, let me slow down because I might just be using my tactics too much. I might be too much tactical. Auntie, how'd you get here? Well, I bought this car with bad credit. I had 27% interest. And wait, freeze. Before you do the victim dance, how'd you get 25% interest credit? Like, what the fuck happened there? I said, see, auntie, the way the game works is that you're my auntie. She's the one who taught me how to drive. So one that looks like Fern. Like if y'all ever meet this auntie, you're like, oh, that's why Fern's family. Yeah, she looks like Fern. She taught me how to drive. But it's this thing that says when you borrow money, your brain shuts out, it tunnels from the responsibilities of your life, and you'll say, I'll pay you back in 2 weeks. And then once you get the money, the tunnel opens up, and all you realize, oh, I gotta eat. I gotta pay for this. I gotta pay my rent. So now next week you're like, oh, nephew, can I okay, I came up short, or I don't have the money right now. And now we got to have a disagreement, and now we can't be nephew and auntie no more behind this 15 grand. So before you talk to me about 15 grand, I think you need to like move differently. Otherwise, I can't be the next victim of your unconscious mind. So I told my auntie no. This auntie taught me how to drive. This one got me got my driver license through my auntie. I had to tell her no to her face because she was under a cloud of distortions. Even though I love her. You guys know where I'm going with this? Like, once you guys understand this game you playing, look, as a father, I may have to put my kids through necessary friction for them to become adults. It don't feel good, but it's part of the game. So when I'm a business owner, I got to do things that you don't want to do, but it's best for us because I'm the leadership of this company. I can't keep appealing to everybody in this room. Eventually I get to, no, it's not, okay, it's not like not anti-feel. Like, for example, I might say, all right, I got to let these two go because at this point, you guys reached your limit. We started the company together. But at this point, if I hold on to you, I'm stopping the company from growth. I'm about to lose all of you guys. That's a decision you got to make but in their brain, they're going to think, I started with you. I work hard every time. I work harder than anybody else here. Yeah, but you reached your limit and we got to go here and there's another level. Do you understand how difficult that is? Because their brain and their intent is not what they feel is not part of my consideration. I got to look at what's really going on that they can't see because they're under the illusion of the distortion of their own brain.
Hey, you ever watched National Geographic documentaries where you see beautiful birds' nests and there's birds on the top and then there's eggs in the nest, and then the bird goes off and goes and brings food and comes back and he's building and taking care of the nest, and it's such a beautiful thing to watch, right? And then within that National Geographic show, bird goes off and a hawk comes and eats one of the eggs, started eating it, and eats the other one, and eats the other one. And the bird comes back to all his eggs is gone. and his children are dead, gone, ate, because the bird just got caught slipping. And we call that nature, right? We call that nature. When in that same National Geographic you see lions chasing a herd, right? Of whatever, impalas or whatever, and the slowest impala or the older impala or the baby impala just ain't fast enough. And the lion grabs it by the neck, cracks that neck, drags it back, and the family eats it, flesh, everything. We call that nature, right? You guys, am I the only one who watched that stuff before? It's nature. It's nature. It's the wild. Now, nobody says, well, why does that happen? Like, that's mean. the bird didn't find other animals to eat? It's nature. A bear standing at a river in the salmon season because they're just trying to go mate. Bear's just having a field day. What the bear does, all he wants is the brains and the skin because that has the most nutrients. So he eats the brains and the skin of the salmon and tosses it. And he does it all day and wastes the rest of the meat. Nature. It's nature. So, and this is a known fact, business is the closest thing to nature that we have. It's the closest thing. The only difference is rarely, sometimes, but not all the time, do people die, get killed. They handle all the wild activities within the course of business. I'll take your business from you. I'll pull your customers from you. I'll sue you. I'll do this. I'll compete with you. I'll come sneak behind you. It's the similar rhythm of nature. But dog mentality wants to soften it and say, well, what? That's mean. Well, why do they do that? Well, who the fuck knows why? We know it happens. And if we are by me people, we're like, we know this happens. What can we do to protect ourselves from it? How can we play offense with it? And how do we insulate ourselves around it? And what plays do we have? That's it. This is the closest so that's why we don't teach this class with these little soft gloves and like, hey, how you do? Yeah. Oh, well, maybe that's okay. Or you could do that if you want to, because you know what we're doing? We're setting you up to release you out into the wild to get eaten quick. And we didn't do our fucking job. We didn't do our job. So when our era, when we came up, when I was born in a really rough period in society, right? So that's early 80s. That's prime crack era. So in prime crack era, it wasn't just Oakland. It was all the major cities in America with prime crack era. They raised their kids different because they're scared as fuck that something was going to happen to them. So fuck being smart. I need you to survive. You going to fight. You're going to learn how to fight. You're going to learn how to be tough. You're going to learn, not because I want to throw you out there, but it's because I'm afraid that you won't be able to survive if you don't learn. Our kids, my sons came in a different generation. Crime rates is down. The crack era had already been defeated to some degree. So it wasn't crazy like when I was born. So guess what? I don't have to like make you a latchkey kid and throw you out there and make you fight all the time because it's a different era. It's a different era. And it gets different every generation. You have to prepare your kids, for anybody, for whatever environment they're in. Because survival is number one. Fuck coddling, being sweet and nice. I need you to survive. And if you don't like me, but you survived, if you don't like me, but you won, I won. I don't give a fuck. I need you to win. If you don't like me, you're like, man, fuck Courtney, man. He hella mean to me and all this shit. But you prospering from it, I won. I'm happy. And that's all that matter.
Last slide.
Oh, this is good.
Yeah.
Gravity, baby.
Gravity, baby.
You know, I'm out in the streets all the time. I hear people complaining about everything. Business, life, family, and like life is full of, so this is such a, like, you know how we do the to me, by me? Can you keep this idea in your brain at all times? There's not a human being in this world that's been born that didn't deal with problems. There has never been a human being that has lived a life without problems. Matter of fact, you can even argue that today we have less problems than any generation before us. Although we have problems. Problem is part of the human existence. So if problems is so normal, why are we acting every time like it's abnormal?
Because we're so used to being coddled.
Huh?
Because we're in an era where coddling is baseline. Like we've created a society where friction is no longer the goal, and survival is just based on how comfortable can we get.
100%. It's and here's a problem with that. You know how businesses make money?
Competition.
By solving problems. How are we upset with problems? If anything, problems should turn on our spidey senses, and we should see opportunities. So when you're around a group of people, it's like, oh, the problem with this, the problem with that, the problem with this, and you join that emotional contagion, you blind yourself, you fall into a tunnel, and you can't see your opportunities. Problems is the game we signed up for. A business by default is a walking act of gravity. You increase the gravity of life once you took on your business. You take on a family, you increase. You ever hear people complain about their families? Oh, these kids. I'm sitting there going, I don't want to hear this bitch ass discussion complaining about your own family. That's a bitch ass discussion. That's East Oakland. I don't need to translate to those who are social justice. That's some bitch ass shit to say, oh my God, the kids. No, once you say I want to have kids, once you buy a new car, you increase your gravity. Do you realize that every time you want something, gravity goes along with it? Everything you want. I want a house, gravity. I want a car, gravity. I want a relationship, gravity. I want a lot of money, a lot of gravity. The world is full of problems, and every time you want something, you just inherited new problems. And yet you talk about problems like they shouldn't. You almost frame problems like they're problems. Like at some point, when do you tell your brain, no, this is life? Like okay, I'm 58. So sometimes I'm walking down the street and I get a little cramp in my knees. I might get a little cramp in my shoulder, right? And I go, oh, I'm 58. It's part of being a man aging. I don't sit there and be like, hey, you home? Okay, guess what just happened? What? My fucking knee. It just popped. Yeah, no, for real. Like this shit got me fucked up. Like, oh, the world's so fucked up. Oh my God. Why my knees? I know it's gonna be cool in a minute, but just, oh my God. What the fuck you complaining about? This is life. Tell me a motherfucker you seen around you said, you know what? I know this one guy, he never has problems. I won't be like him. There's no such thing. So why do you keep talking about problems and creating theater around your problems? You know, last week, I can't, just give me a second, it's hard to talk about. I had a problem. No, seriously. I know you guys never heard this before. I had a problem. And I don't understand why I gotta have problems. I feel like God is not looking at me.
Yo.
I prayed all week to get rid of my problem, and God has not removed my problem. I mean, I'm thinking, God, why not just me? Huh? I know everybody else got a problem. Like literally, what the fuck are we doing, people? Why are we talking about problems? Look, if I share a room with 100 people, let's say like right now, 100 people live in this building right now. That's 100 problems. My job is to say I'm in a room with 100 people and embrace that it's going to be full of problems and design for the problems of 100 people. Not sit up every day and be like, it's happening to me problems. This shit is the most craziest. Like the more I sit around and go, like I feel a problem for a second, but I don't pour into my problems because I said, that's the game I signed up for.
That's it.
That's it.
Gravity. It's all gravity. It's all gravity. Do you remember the initial illustration for why we chose gravity? Like, do we remember the initial illustration about the kid, the child who was learning to walk? It's gravity. So it, like you said, everything you want requires a certain level of gravity for you to maintain it. And it just is what it is. And a lot of times we also think we the only one that's going through shit. And the world revolves around us and we the only ones going through it. You don't know what a person around you is going through. It's if they're a to me person or a by me person. That's the difference. If they're to me or by, that's the difference. Because if you're a to me, then what you're doing is you're curling up and just taking the blows of life and praying for a miracle because you ain't gonna do nothing about it. By me, you take responsibility for it all because that's part of the gravity of what you signed up for. And shit happens. I'll tell you this quick story. I don't know if you know, but my mom don't fuck with me for a lot of reasons, right? But it's her personal reasons. And it has to do with her religion, right? She's very gung-ho about it. So she's very, what you call that? Like very...
Distant.
I guess it's just gung-ho about her religion. And there's certain rules about it. So I get a call from her every blue moon. And it's like big changes, things that happen in her life. So she'll call me every blue moon, once, twice a year maybe. So she moved out of California. So she called me yesterday, like, hey, Ma, how you doing? Good. How you doing? Good. I just let you know that we moved, and we're getting settled in. I'm like, where'd you move to? Like, she told me. I'm like, okay, good. All right, I'm glad to hear your voice. Glad you do it. She's like, are you still doing that business stuff? Are you making any money? I'm like, I'm doing all right, Ma. I'm doing all right. All right, just making sure, because, you could get a job if you need to. Like, I said, I appreciate that. She don't know shit about what I do. She don't know nothing about what I do. So I'm like, I'm doing all right. You sure you're making money with that business now? Yep, I'm doing all right. I'm hanging in there. All right, I'll see you later. Bye. Like, I just chalk that up to the gravity. It's gravity. It's out of my control, that side of my world. But what's in my control is how I use it, what I do with it, how I move with that energy, how I think about it. Yeah. Because I have siblings that that they're damaged to this day because of it. Therapy that never worked, drugs, alcohol, all the shit that fucked them up because of it. But if you chalk it up as gravity, it's life. It's outside of my control. What can I control? I control how I move with it, what I do with it. You know what I'm saying? And it doesn't matter what you're going through in life or what you've been through or what trauma that's happened to you. I don't care. I'm going to say it. I don't care if you've been abused, raped, beat up. I don't care. It doesn't matter what it is. What happened is the gravity of life. And how you conquer the gravity of life is how you move. It's to still stand up. I'm going to still stand. Even though the gravity is heavy, I'm going to still stand. And that's how you move. But you got to accept the gravity of it. You got to accept. We already accept gravity of being black in America, right? But some people, they use that as an excuse to fail. Man, it's because, they don't want to see us. Man, fuck that shit. What is required for me to still get it? Oh, I got to be a little bit stronger because the gravity is a little bit heavier. Well, let me get a little bit stronger then and keep it pushing. That's a difference between a by me and a to me. So the gravity shit is so... Have you ever said some shit, made some shit up, like you had a big story in your head, but you was around a person who, you're like, this happened to me and this happened, and they said, but that's what happens. That happened to me too. That happens to a lot of people. And it deflated your fucking balloon. Poof. Oh shit. You know what they you were privy on? The fact that the gravity affects us all the same way. You just was acting like a mark about it.
That's right, Mark.
I'm saying, really, like, but if you take that mentality and do it at whatever you like, that's what helps you, bro. I'm gonna tell you, man. Like, I ain't that smart like that. I'm not. I get up so fast that you can't tell I fail. I fail, got up, fail, got up, fail, got up so quick that you hadn't even got up out your chair yet because you overanalyzing and thinking about this and being afraid to try. A lot of it is just experience and time. Gravity is like, hey, I accept what I got. I accept what God gave me. I don't give a fuck about being perfect or making mistakes. You don't do shit to me being stranded at the motherfucking tunnel. Don't do shit. It's what does my progression game look like? Once you all accept the gravity piece of this, you can take a deep breath. Oh man. Oh, it's just gravity? Who was it when somebody was like, I'm going through it in business? Oh, was it Marquita? Where I forget which entrepreneur was like, I'm going through it. And me and Nana was both like, good. That's part of it. Good shit. This shit gonna hurt, but boy, when you get out of it, it's gonna turn you to a monster. And she looked at us like, huh? Good? Like, yeah, this is that good shit. This is the part where it get real. Because we know that that's gravity.
I'll say this. I'm not going to touch gravity anymore because I think Court landed that plane. And hopefully you guys get that. I think in the truth of matters, like, the signs that you don't get is gravity. You complain too much. If you complain every once in a while, that's called being human. You know, you kind of like, you have a to me every once in a while. But even when we talk, me, him, Pastor Chris, T. Pratt, Mashama, when we talk, even Dave Max, when we talk, we can say, here's the problem. Oh, I'm irritated. You know what I could have did different? That's how it goes. Or what mistakes did you think you made in that situation? That's the question they're going to ask me, and vice versa. We don't go, oh my God, I can't believe they did that to you. That's fucked up. That's so disrespectful. This is why we don't talk like that. We go instantly back to, yo, we could have a moment where I'd be like, man, this is some bullshit. And then I'll say, but I was tripping because I did da 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 da. So the balance is also too, when you're in a world of discussing problems, you're not so theatrical. You just state them. You work on a solution. You move on because tomorrow's coming, and you don't get to stay here. So where when I meet people who are like, oh, it's a rough week. It's so bad out there. Oh my God, I just don't know what to do. Well, all that right there, all that energy I put in. It was a bad week. You say, I had a bad week last week. I gotta think of what am I doing wrong here? See the difference? That means I'm still driving my vehicle. But when I go, oh, I'm out of control. Oh, life is just taking over me. I'm victimized by it. Oh, why me, God? Oh. You see the difference? That's the difference. The by me, to me response to you. You could complain contextually, which says, hey, man, sometimes we come to class and be like, yo, this was a rough week. But then what's going to precede that is, this is what I'm working on. This is what's going on. I don't never say, yeah, then this person screwed me and this person screwed me. And this, he told one story, I don't tell the details. We lost a lot of money. He said, this person lost me this much money. And what I should have did different to make sure that person didn't lose me that money is I should have did. And he went down a list of him. He left her, this person was almost like a comma in his sentence, his story, and it was all about him. It wasn't, she didn't, then she didn't, then she did. Yeah, she made some mistakes that cost him a lot of money. But what he did is he went into why he chose her, what he could have how he could have put things in place to see the situation in the future, which mean that what that also tells me as his partner is that he's going to build a much more robust system moving forward. He's not going to build the same shit again and put the pressure on the employee to better perform. He's going to build a system in the future that won't get caught that way.
Because of ownership.
Right? That's ownership. That's what we're missing by the way that we show up to gravity. We're giving gravity more ownership than we should have, which by saying, "No, we signed up for gravity." When we were born into gravity, and we're not going to leave gravity until we die. That's just the end of the conversation. And let me say something too, real quick. This is I'm gonna close my point out. You said I'm not that smart. Let me tell you. Let me read through that a little bit for you guys, so I can show you his power. He does have a super duper duper power. Shakina has a small version of that power. She's going to that power, but it's if you don't know this, you won't see how she went from here to here, right? Remember we talked about earlier that point when most people quit? These two won't quit. If I say, Court, you're gonna have to learn this to get there, and it could be like volumes. Court be like, all right, he'll say real cool, all right. Next thing you check in Court, where you at? I'm almost halfway through the book. What the fuck? But Court, I mean, like you ran out of gas and your knee's bad, and I heard you like you might have to go to the doctor to get your shoulder operated on. Yeah, but I'm still reading. He's conquering. He doesn't cope. Shakina first joined the class. She says, I'm like, this first year. I'm like, all right, y'all, first year. I gave back to the community. I see y'all maybe a couple of years. I don't know if I might teach next year. But, you know, if I come back, hopefully next class, we'll enjoy this. Shakina's like, well, if you have another class, I'm going to be here to every class. That was 9 years ago. She's still here like a fucking religion. If y'all knew her 9 years ago, my business partner saw her after 6 years, and I said, hey, you remember Shakina? He's like, I never met her before.
Said, like, swear to God.
I swear to God.
Like,
he sat in office.
Still to this day.
She would be in office once a week in class. He would see her every week. He said, I don't, because the version of her that she grew out of is unrecognizable to this version of her. I'm not saying that she don't have a long way to go. I'm saying if you've seen her growth patterns from the person we met that day to the person she is now, and her level of, I don't get it, but I'm still here. I don't get it, but I'm still here. The other week, Court asked her some questions in class. He's like, yo, what's your question? So I'm gonna share some transparency because I called her up and told her. So she turned on her computer and she was like this. I said, oh, she ain't paying attention when Court asked these questions. That's cool, whatever. You know, she's over here, she's reading the questions anyways. I don't really need her to pay attention. She don't pay attention, fine. She don't pay attention. And she got her head, because when she types fast, she crunches. Like in one of the movies, right? So I said, oh, fuck it, she's checked out. So Court says, all right, so who has the answer? This motherfucker was typing up answers hella fast. Her, to respect to Kasha pays attention. Kasha's learning because Kasha was popping answers so fast. Between her and Kasha, it was a contest. Get out, right? I told her, I said, I didn't think you pay attention. She says, no, I ain't got to probably learn this shit. I got something I got to probably do this shit. So the fact of the matter, like, what I mean, okay, I've seen her give advice about business sometimes, and I thought, how do you know that? Because she takes this shit serious. She literally goes after class, she watches the recording the next day on her break and takes notes from the class. Meaning, what I'm saying about this is this. Remember I said that's that point where you don't get that linear return or benefit to your exercise, your commitment? Both of them do this. They're not getting that immediate reward, and they won't stop moving forward. They won't stop moving forward. So Court has become extremely intelligent. He stays humble. That's what makes him grow so fast. But he's extremely intelligent. Like, I can't leave Court behind. I can get loose in a conversation. I can't leave him behind. Right? Now, he can lose me on some of that spiritual shit because he can go way out there. And I'm like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, bro. But I can't leave him behind in business discussions, right? Quiet as kept, I can't really leave Shakina that far behind. Now, she will resist because of her emotions. But if she turned her emotions down, she'll hear me, right? Their practice routine is cold-blooded, and they're practicing despite not feeling like you're not making any progress, you're not growing. They have that endurance. I would argue more than anything, if you don't have the ability to maintain consistency in this game and stick with it, then you're just building another hobby skill you can reflect on when you get older. Talk about, I know some shit about business now. Huh? What your daddy used to do? That's what you're going to be, that kind of person. So in order for you to be good at this shit, you got to be consistent. You got to have that dog in you, that wolf in you that says, yo, throw an obstacle in front of me. That's just a new move for me. That's all it is, because I'm going past that obstacle. And I promise you, Court has done some shit in the lifetime he's been here to the point that he never lets me praise him because he always downplays it. Like, no, I was just doing what I had to do. I'm just making it look easy. That's what I had to do. But if y'all said the shit he was up against, I'm talking about, fuck that hindsight analysis. Go to the foresight when he told you, here's all the things in front of me. Like, y'all don't realize he just came out of war. This motherfucker fought motherfucking Russia by himself and got his land back. Like this motherfucker fought. I don't think y'all understand. And then the moves he made after he fought the war, he put off some moves that I didn't even see. That's so cold that I was telling Mashama about. I was like, yeah, my boy, he doing. He's like, what are you doing? Like that motherfucker made some moves, boy. Right? I'm saying to y'all don't really. This stuff we talk about in class, he would have never got that if that wasn't. He was literally. We're testifying. We're not teaching. We're testifying. And I'm telling you who he's become. I've seen him conquer things y'all can't begin to imagine. One day he's here, Frank, because he's a story master. He'll put it in great story tones. But I promise you that his fight, she opened her new gym, didn't even have the right kind of money. She did not have the right kind of money. I'm going to just be transparent. Me and my boy who's in real estate was like, what the fuck are you doing? Right? She didn't have the right kind of money. She didn't have the right, she had a short-term plan for a long-term journey. Like she packed a small bag and found out she needed 4 suitcases, right? Like it was all wrong. Tell me that motherfucker didn't come out of that shit. She even got hard money. That kind of money says, oh no, you gotta give me like 5-6 G's a month and still run your business. Let's go. I thought, okay, this is it. This is death and destruction. This motherfucker turned a little Tasmanian, started spinning like Tasmanian devil and just cut through all that shit. I said, how in the fuck? They got that in them. That's what made me like them before we even got there. Reason I mentored her, she had that before. She had it in her, but nothing was feeding it. So she didn't know it was a valuable asset. She was just throwing it like it was an old shirt in her back closet. And I was like, yo, come here. I think you got something, right? The reason I ended up liking him, like first time I met him, I was like, I'm fucking with him. I'm like, yo, I don't need to explain myself. Like you're normal to me. This is my comfort zone. This is a brother I look at and be like, damn, I like the way this brother moves. This brother he's just not breakable like that. He just ain't that kind of man. Like he's just a different, now mind you, he'll hit you in the mouth. he got that in him. But he don't move like, he don't lead with that shit. Like if somebody would come for his daughter, I'll start praying before, oh God, I'm gonna pray for the man he about to kill because I hope he goes somewhere kind in this world, right? But when he walks to the society, he walks to namaste, he's avoiding unnecessary friction. He moves in a way that says, I don't have time for none of that low level, low frequency. He doesn't seek it out. Where he takes all that force that he has, that he used to have from the streets, he applies it to, ain't an obstacle you're gonna put in front of me, I won't knock down. That is fucking fire. And we don't talk enough about that society. We're too busy talking about victimization and softness and weaknesses and fragilities as opposed to like, yo, use him when he's not around as a motivator to say, yo, what would Court do? What would Shakina do? And that's how you got to move. Don't listen to your friends about, oh, hell no, that's unfair. I know you feel disrespected. Cut all that language out. If anybody even listens to your disrespect dialogue, you call them up like, man, Shakina disrespected me. She'd be like, what? Cut that person out. You want a person to be like, yo, don't call me with this bullshit. You weak today? What's wrong with you? You feeling some kind of you feeling too sassy? Come on, let's go. That's it. I know that shit sounds crazy. I know it seems like it's really not that simple, but this shit is so complex, you're not going to read it in one book. There got to be a force in you that goes along with your learning. And even in learning, you're going to run against walls and make you feel like, I can't go no further. And like to Court's famous word, there's always more. All right? Out. That's it.
Night, y'all.
In that video, real quick.